the weapon loadouts.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is RedSunGamer, Son of a Podcast, episode 39. Today's date, June 3rd. And I'm your host, Martin, otherwise
I'm
known
your
as
co-host.
DJ Mizuhara. Hello, Stephen.
How you doing?
Are you in Yokohama?
I just like do-si-doed right in. Sorry.
Are you drinking by any chance?
Yebisu?
Oh, he is. Stephen's drinking.
That's called yes, and I just gave you what I'm drinking.
Excellent. What are you drinking? Say it again.
Ebisu.
Excellent. And we have Elliot.
Hey.
Where are you, Elliot? He's still in Fukuoka?
He's in his rumpus room.
There's that too. Yep, Nagasaki, Fukuoka area still. Ain't gonna change anytime soon.
Excellent. Kyle is not with us today. Today was moving day.
Woo!
So he's moved, and he's looking to be without internet for at least a week. It was a month.
Ugh.
But I think he flipped some tables and got it down to a week.
Got that guy.
Chabudai Gaishi.
Chabudai, yeah. He started flipping tables.
Did the Miyamoto.
Yep. He sure did. Didn't make a bridge though, did he? Cheap bastard.
Oh right. That's a bit too maniac level.
Maybe
right.
next time.
I got an opening question, guys.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah? You ready?
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Opening question is, what's your most embarrassing story in Japan?
That didn't take long.
Didn't take long. No. Mine, I'll start first so you can think about it, yeah?
Oh, there you go. Wow, you're a kind host.
Yeah, well, that's the way I roll. Okay.
Can you make it theme based or what?
Anything you want. Just embarrassing, right?
Okay.
Just embarrass yourself. Just have a laugh, yeah?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You ever had the time where you've got crazy sneezes, right? You constantly sneeze and you can't stop sneezing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. You ever get the time where you sneeze and you fart at the same time?
I've heard of the throwing up and diarrhea at the same time when you're throwing up in the bathtub.
Add crazy contagious sneezing and farting. Then
is that like
wait, plus train.
Oh, that's terrible.
Plus girl standing in front of you.
Somebody got hurt.
Plus headbutt. Okay?
Wait,
So I sneezed, I farted at the same time, and I headbutted the girl in front of me. who hit the deck.
And then you dogezed.
Yeah.
And then you got down on the ground and
Yeah,
oh man.
Oh, that's good.
Now wait, like how hard did you hit her, and where did you hit her on her cranium?
On her cranium, right in the middle of her skull.
Oh,
Forehead between the eyes.
The forehead. She hit the deck like a bag of potatoes.
oh my God, was she okay?
No.
No. Oh no.
Yeah. So, oops. That's my most embarrassing.
You're supposed to be holding onto the tsurikawa, the little handle.
Well, she couldn't because she wasn't so tall.
Well, that's her own fault.
She was like 150 centimeters tall, and I was holding onto the ring.
Wait a second. So how did you handle this?
Said sorry.
And what did she say?
And made a quick exit and got off.
Oh,
You just got off. You got off at the stop you didn't mean to get off at?
No, I got off at the stop so I could get on the next train, so I wouldn't have to stand there
Oh
for like
yeah, there
an
you
hour
go.
of thinking. I just headbutted this girl, and she's not very happy, and everyone else on the train saw me.
Oh, and it smells.
I don't think it did. I don't remember because there was other things going on. So yeah, I got off the train and waited for the next one, so I didn't have to sit there feeling embarrassed for another hour. Or stand there for another hour feeling embarrassed. So yep, there you go. I'm embarrassed.
I think that story is good enough to stand on its own.
No, don't don't bottle it. Sorry, Stephen, don't bottle it. Come on,
have one.
I'm not gonna let.
Perfect.
I'm not gonna let Martin stay by himself on this one.
There you
Okay.
go.
So my story is also a train story.
Oh yeah, it's the best. The best stories are always on the train.
This was when I was still in college and I was in Kyoto
Okay.
studying abroad. And a friend of mine had a birthday party and she rented out the whole an entire bar for this birthday party, right? So it was Nomi Hodai, all you can drink.
Yeah.
You know? And so me and my friend, my best friend at the time, we decided, okay, we're gonna watch each other's backs make sure we don't drink too much and just, keep tabs on one another so we'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started doing tequila shots, which is not keeping tabs on each other very well. And in a very short period of time, a lot of tequila was consumed. And I started to, black in and out. I'm sitting there taking a shot, and then the next thing I noticed, an hour and a half later, I'm dancing with this really pretty girl on the dance floor, like mid-movement. And I'm like, how did I get here? Time travel's kind of crazy. Woo! So the end of the night comes, and I'm feeling better. I've kind of mellowed out and get on the train to go home. And that train is just rocking back and forth, soothing wave-like motion.
Excellent.
The train is filled with salarymen, a couple of women. And all that tequila came back out of my stomach, and I just threw up all over the floor on the train. And this was the front car. Uh-huh. And so the conductor saw this, came out, and no one had anything to, wipe this with. And so he took down one of, the poster things that hangs from the ceiling.
Oh, man.
And put it on the floor to cover it. And the salaryman next to me, who's holding a beer in his hand, is laughing his butt off at me. And gives me his handkerchief, tells me I can keep it, and then says something along the lines, "Oh, young people are so crazy," as he takes a swig of his beer. And it was the most embarrassing moment of my entire life, probably.
I cannot recall anything.
Oh, come on. Really? You've been in Japan?
I've been here too long.
You've been in Japan for
God.
13 years and you can't think
I can
of
remember
anything?
screwing up in college, but once I came here, I was all set straight.
Really?
Oh, man.
Come on.
Don't leave us alone here.
Yeah. I know things that you've
Well, you
done.
know me for a while. What have I done?
Come on. You went to Nathan's party, right? And dressed up as a schoolgirl or something?
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
There we go.
There you go. Now you've got something.
There you go.
So my party, I've been lived in Nagoya for 11 years, and they had to throw a big bash that was fitting of to give me a proper send-off before I moved to Tokyo, because I moved to Tokyo in October. So went to a beer garden in Japan, which is quintessential Japan. There's no grass what to speak of, but basically a beer garden in Japan means you go to the top of some building, and they usually have a nomi hodai, tabe hodai, which is all you can grub. They call it biking, right?
Yeah,
there's no Viking hats, but it's, you eat all you want, drink all you want. And after that, did the traditional, go to karaoke, very, very standard. But then in Japan, it's very common to even clean up after karaoke with Cosmo bowling. I don't know if you've ever done that in Japan.
Yeah.
Where it's not just straight up bowling. They have it where everything has been painted so that when you shut the lights off, it glows. So this place didn't have Cosmo bowling that night, but they did have this something else, and it was was basically Tokyo Game Show public cosplay day, where they had specific outfits that you could wear. And I've still got a picture up right here, but there was do you know the standard red jumpsuit that comes with a hood? It's just like a spandex bodysuit. It's all red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we got one of those. We had a cheerleader outfit. It was totally Chainsaw Lollipop, Julieta. And then what's the other one? I can't remember.
Was it a bowling pin?
What's that?
Was it a bowling pin?
I can't remember. I can barely see the picture from here, but I can only see me dressed up as a cheerleader. We were so drunk, I don't remember wearing it, but apparently the owner came by to take a picture. I think some of these outfits for women only. But the funny thing, though, is, one guy's wearing the red outfit. I'm wearing the cheerleader outfit. And then at one point, there's another picture, and we're all wearing different clothes. We swapped clothes, in other words. On the bowling lane. So suddenly I'm wearing another outfit. It's oh yeah, here it is. I see it's all full of flowers, and it's got a little flower that you can put on your head and everything like that.
Oh,
so we changed at the bowling lane. On the bowling lane right there.
So are you really embarrassed about that?
No, I'm glad I have that just undying image of my mates from Nagoya.
Excellent.
And I know the owner did come by and like, I think we gave him verbal approval to like show this at the counter. So I'm sure everybody who walks by is checking this out. So.
Oh yeah, because there's a photograph of all you guys dressed up on the counter of the bowling alley, right?
Right. It's probably there right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
So I think I left Nagoya just in time.
Excellent. Okay, so this opening question, I think we're going to do one every week, and every week you guys will choose the question. So next week, Stephen, you can choose the question and we'll answer it.
Okay.
Yeah? It's got to be Japan theme, though. Yeah?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Slice of life.
Slice of life. My computer likes to spell naughty things.
Really?
Yeah. I'm in class, right? I'm teaching ABCs to my Rokonensei, which is 6th grade. And, teaching ABCs. And we've just done the ABC, the alphabet song. And on the computer, I have randomized, and it randomizes the ABCs. And I asked the students to listen and write what you hear. Okay, no problem, they said. Sure.
No big deal.
Homeroom teacher stands at the back of the...
now, these kids, are they learned by now? Have they got their phonics down?
But they know their ABCs.
Okay.
But this was going to... Basically, the computer was going to repeat the ABCs at a quite a fast pace. So
right.
I wanted them to listen and write it down. And then I was going to check with the whole class at the end to make sure that everyone had got the correct order. So, anyways, I hit
second grade again.
I hit random on the computer, and the computer spells out N O F U C
no F-bombs.
K S. And the homeroom teacher just cracked up laughing, and I was standing there. Obviously, and I was writing these ABCs down as the alphabet down as well, and then I realized what it said, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But none of the kids were totally oblivious to what it just spelled out.
They always are.
But
every single one of them, nobody played GTA.
No, well, obviously not. No, but no one like cracked on except for the homeroom teacher who was standing there laughing his head off, and I was like, "Okay."
You can't really do much with that other than what it. I just ran it through an anagram randomizer, and I guess you could spell it as cosfunk. It's cosplay funk.
Right.
Sock fun. There you go.
No. It spells out NOFUCKS, and obviously some other letters as well from the alphabet. But that was
by then they were already writing it out, right?
And I looked into the class, into the classroom, and on everyone's desk. Everyone had written what I've just
obediently wrote down.
Yeah,
no F-bombs.
I wish I had a camera.
Which is a pretty nice rule. It sounds like a nice school rule. No F-bombs allowed.
Yeah, but I wish I had a camera to take a picture because it was so funny.
Did you have them turn in the sheets? You could just have kept those.
Well, I've got my original sheet that I wrote down when I was listening to the computer because obviously at the end of it I asked them to repeat what's just been said.
Wait,
So,
don't these computers, like these randomizers, have like a set database of words that are taboo?
obviously not.
Apparently not, yeah.
Obviously not. No, but that's what happened.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's my slice of life. Steven, slice of life.
Oh, okay. So on top of the mystery question, we're doing slice of life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the other day we went up to. I live near the waterfront in Yokohama, and there's a place where like 200 years ago when Commodore Perry came in here, and they basically the whole like half of the city right along the waterfront was occupied by foreigners. It was one of the few areas where they had free reign to live and move around. So there's a pretty big, robust community of foreigners 200 years ago in Japan. Right. It's pretty wicked. And they have this. I was just walking along this road up there and just turned a random left and came across this place called the Tin Toy Museum.
Huh.
And didn't know anything walking into the place, but Yeah, we went there and had a couple words with. You could pay 200 yen, and it's a toy shop museum of just all tin toys from like the 1950s, 1940s.
That's cool.
And apparently, this place is like internationally renowned, and actually, it blew me away. But the inspiration for the Pixar Studios Toy Story came from this very shop.
Seriously?
Seriously. And
has it got like pictures of Lasseter on there or what?
It's got a picture of Lasseter shaking hands with the owner.
Oh.
And apparently he was the director of Toy Story, was an avid toy collector. And he actually, when he came to Japan, of course, as an avid toy collector, there's different places you visit. And this was one of them because he has apparently this guy who runs the place, this tin toy museum, is a very astute tin toy collector. And what is crazy, though, is there are certain toys there that were exact inspirations for the characters in Toy Story. So you can see where he got this character from, because Lasseter would sit down in there with a sketchbook and essentially just draw these characters as he's seeing them. And then that became what he would actually ended up in the movie. So you remember those crazy doll pictures, like those like I guess they get caught or they're held hostage at one point by this kid who like destroys all the toys. I think that's story 2. And there's like these really scary looking babies.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the second half of the first one.
They were there. You could see, and they were really scary looking toys. But and then Buzz Lightyear. There's this spaceman, and it looks. He's like, this is the exact inspiration of him. But then there's this orange character right in front of him. And he stole the face from the orange character and put it on this spaceman. And then those two characters together became Buzz Lightyear.
That's wild.
Excellent.
I mean, I think I put the picture up in my Twitter. I don't know if
you did. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing that.
Did you see the orange character's face, how it looked like Buzz Lightyear?
Yep.
I totally missed that. I'll have to go back.
And but it just blew my mind because it's just a random combination. Because he was sitting with his sketchbook, he didn't like the face on the spaceman, so he put the face of the character in front of him on there, and there you have it.
Right, because in Toy Story 2, he does the collector, doesn't he, is selling toys back to Japan. Woody.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I mean, in all the films too, you can find a lot of little references to like Studio Ghibli and stuff too. So I mean, yeah,
right, yeah. It's a really great place if you want to check out. I mean, if you're in Tokyo, you got to go see this place.
Didn't you get in for free?
Oh no, that was another museum before that.
Whoa, Museum Day, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And fireworks just kicked off in Japan. We get like a whole month full of fireworks. So that was the first one. Are you guys going to see any? Have you started seeing any fireworks fests yet?
I've heard them, but I haven't seen anything.
Nothing yet here. We have our big festival in terms of fireworks and stuff like that. That comes in end of July.
Nice.
Sometime. But the view from Yokohama is beautiful. The waterfront.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just a few minutes away.
You got the huge Ferris wheel, and it's all lit up.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
One of the
then you've got
clock is the largest digital clock in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then you've got like the what is it? The Sky Tower.
The Sky Tree Tower is just opened up in downtown Tokyo.
No, not Sky Tree. I'm talking Sky Tower. There's a Sky Tower on Yokohama.
The Marine Tower. Yeah, we have one of those as well.
Yeah, that's when it's lit up at night. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
colors are beautiful. Anyways,
I really want to make it out there sometime.
Yeah,
you guys are welcome. Always, it's my little rabbit hutch, but it's a perfect location.
Smart, Elliot.
Yeah,
go on.
So I was walking down the street yesterday, and I had my headphones on. I always have my headphones on.
As do I. Stops old men from talking to me. Hey, where are you from? Like, what?
What's your hobby?
A lot of my kids get mad at me because I guess they see me and they call my name, but I don't respond. So I think I'm ignoring them. But yeah, I'm walking and this car passes by and it's a red light up at the 4-way intersection. And this car stops and this girl this woman peeks her head out and she's like smiling at me and she starts talking to me. And I'm like, do I know this woman? Like maybe she's an old student or something. And I take off my headphones and I'm about to be like, oh, long time no see, just to, be safe.
Yeah.
But no, she's just her and her buddy who's driving, both really attractive women, are just like sitting there talking to me, like flirting with me on like the side of the road, right? At this red light. And I'm just like, this is crazy awesome, like when I go to a bar or something, it's one thing to expect something like that there, but when you're just walking down the street, okay, this is new. And
drive by Nampa.
Yeah, drive by Gyaku Nampa,
Yeah.
And like, unfortunately, the red light was only like 30 seconds long and they were off. But after they left, I was just kind of like, damn, that was a good chance. And
why didn't you wave them in?
The way the road was, there was nowhere to like wave them in.
You should. You got to get like the gasoline attendants where it's like, all right. Wave.
Yeah, it was
just
really
gotta take over.
It was a nice way to like end the afternoon, but it was disappointing because I didn't get any numbers out of it, and I know I could have.
Well, you know what to do next week.
Yeah,
same place next week, right? And
have my number ready.
I have some business cards ready
never
just
works.
to throw them at them.
I'll tell you that never works. Go back. It's not like lightning strikes the same place twice.
You never know.
Gyaku Nampa does not strike the same place twice.
Just in case, get some meishi ready.
Gyaku Nampa in Japanese is for when you get hit on by chicks, right?
Yeah, it's like reverse flirt. Reverse flirting.
Hit on, yeah.
Because apparently women are not capable of normal hitting on, so it has to be reverse. But yeah, it's Japan. But so it was that. And then in the school end of things, I actually have 2 3-day weekends in a row. This week and next week.
Rub it in.
Because, well, there's a but to this story. But the Chusotai, which is basically the citywide sports tournament, happens next weekend. And the way sports in middle school works, they have a season where they play games against other schools, but none of those games count at all. They can lose all of those games, and it doesn't mean a single thing. They basically have their entire sports season in the span of 2 days on a Saturday and a Sunday. And their entire, champion of the year is decided there, and it does not matter how many games you've won or lost up to then. But so I got to be going to those on Saturday and Sunday as like work. So they gave me, the Monday this week and the Monday next week off. But they actually tried to take those days away from me this year. I got a call on Friday, and they were saying...
Never pick up calls on Friday from work.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But the thing is, they left a note at my desk first, so I had to call back. They wanted to move one of my schools to Monday because they saw that I'd be on my schedule. It looks like I'm going to the school that wouldn't have anybody there. And so I got really panicked, because there was no way I was going to let them steal away my 3-day weekends. But yeah, there's this whole fuss between the Board of Education and the schools, and everybody really confused. And, they tried to kind of guilt me into it, but I just kind of gaijin smashed my way through it. No, I want my 3-day weekends. You're not taking them away from me. Screw that.
But is that what you said?
I mean, not quite as strongly, but I was pretty much just like, if you want me to go to the Chusotai, you're going to let me have my Mondays off. And if you take away the Mondays, then I simply won't be able to go to the Chusotai.
You got to start speaking like a foreigner who's been here but hasn't learned any pronunciation. They usually just turn you away. You just heavy usage of watashi.
Watashi, wakaranai, wakaranai,
wakarimasen.
no koto. Yeah, that'd be a trip, but I don't think they'd buy that.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
nice.
let's get into games, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, games. Okay. Me and actually, I think all of us have played this. The Max Anarchy demo came out.
So good.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thursday. Yes.
Thursday, maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
That was Friday. We all got together and played that.
Yeah, we got together to play it on Friday, but it came out on the Thursday. I'm pretty sure.
Platinum Games.
Yeah, Platinum Games.
We
Sega
talked about this just for a little bit, I think, before.
Yes, Sega published, Platinum Game developed. I played this at TGS, and yeah.
Wow, it was there? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was there at TGS. Yeah, I played it twice. Obviously, it didn't reflect in how I played when I played it with you.
Not bad, huh?
Oh, man, I totally forgot how to play it. And then the thing is, you need to play the tutorial first, I think.
Definitely.
Because it teaches you so much that,
we jumped in right into the frying pan with two people who had clearly played the tutorial.
Yeah, we played with two listeners. What is it? JRD84 and JR Potential.
Urban Scholar, yeah.
Yeah, and damn, JR Potential just kicked our ass.
Schooled, yeah.
I mean, he made us look like we played it with one hand.
Gentlemen, come on.
Yeah.
No, I got my second game though. I got a triple kill, which was pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
All you guys went down.
He killed all three of us in one go.
I could not believe it. I was just button mashing, and then it just started going nuts, and I could in my mind it was like double kill, triple. I could hear like the narrator God from Halo in my head. It was a beautiful moment. But after that, it was short lived.
Yeah.
But it's just online play essentially outside of the tutorial, the demo, right?
There's a single player demo as well.
There's a single player demo.
Oh, there is there.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't get to that.
Yeah, you didn't get to that. But this is. Am I right in saying that this is like Power Stone?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The first thing I felt when I started playing it was like, damn, this is like Power Stone.
Like a more fully featured Power Stone.
Yeah.
With a better emphasis on chaining combos and stuff like that.
Yes, that's what I thought as well. But did you enjoy it though?
I had a blast with it, let me tell you. I actually got home that day from work kind of early because I was a little bit sick. And I'm more of a team deathmatch kind of guy, so I went for those first, 4-on-4. And it's just crazy, the poison gas that comes up in the middle of the match, and so you have to find high ground. And then Cthulhu, this giant robot thing, comes out of nowhere.
The blue robot. Oh, right.
And it's attacking everybody, and it's kind of a boss in the middle of this multiplayer battle. I mean,
wow, that's something you don't see.
Yeah, it gets so hectic, but it's so much fun. And there's this one point too where if you're on the ground for too long in this one area, this 18-wheeler truck goes on a rampage in the area and is just smashing into everything on the ground.
Is that the 18-wheeler from Sega's 18-wheeler truck game? Is it the same one?
I don't think it was. But it's just I'm standing on this building and I'm looking down, and suddenly there's this voice that's I can't remember what it exactly said, but it's something there's a rampaging truck in the area. And I'm playing, I'm like, what the hell is this game talking about? And I look down and there's just this 18-wheeler crashing into people and walls, and I'm perfectly safe, but
maximum overdrive.
I'm holding my controller, asking myself, what the heck is going on? But I don't know, it's just so fast-paced and fun. What characters did you guys play as? Do you remember?
Jack.
I played the big blue robot.
Garuda?
Yeah.
These characters, are they from Mad World?
Jack is, I believe.
Jack
the big
is,
guy
right.
with the chainsaw.
The chainsaw, right?
Yeah, he's the main character in Mad World.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I was I've seen this guy before, but I'm pretty sure it's from Mad World, but I wasn't totally sure because I didn't play Mad World so much.
And I think the pimp is also from Mad World, but I'm not sure.
Right, okay.
I was playing as Leo, the guy with the blades on his arms.
Yes.
Kind of played like Raiden a little bit, it felt like.
Who's the chick?
Yeah, that's right.
Who's the chick?
Oh, there was two. There's two
chicks, yeah. Yeah, but I think I played with all of them, bar the robot, because I thought the robot's probably just
too
slow and chunky. Yeah, I was like, nah.
He can fly though, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that. It's
I like the combat, the move where you can get in the center of everybody and just if you're the blue robot dude, he does this torpedo move straight in the air like a rocket torpedo and kind of wipes everybody out.
Yeah, when you press
like a drill bit or something, he acts like.
Yeah.
There's the square to X button that basically just hits everybody in the vicinity, and it's kind of a really good desperation attack.
That was me.
All the time.
Because you can build. Actually, there's items that get dropped and dropped onto the stage that you can. They're in a box, right? And you open the box and you get an item out, and you can select it using the D-pad, right?
Yeah, like rocket launchers
and stuff like that. But you can combo all that together.
Yep.
You can jump into somebody and combo them, and then finish them off with the weapon, which is just awesome.
It feels so good.
It does, right? Yeah. So no, I was really surprised with it. because as I said, I played at TGS, and obviously not being able to, I didn't really get a great feel for it because I only played it like twice.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously this time I had a lot more time to actually sit down and hear what was going on, because I couldn't hear anything last time.
Yeah.
And I had obviously my own time to play it, and wow, I think maybe day one.
Day one, definitely.
Steven?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not quite sure yet. I have to play it
You're gonna have
a
to
little
play
bit more. I was pretty pleased with, I don't know, like the net code felt like it was really solid. I mean, there wasn't any sort of lag or that.
I didn't see any lag. I didn't see anyone to get disconnected.
I don't know if I like. And when I respawned, I was like down on a separate level, and then I was like, a gas would shoot me up to the main battle playing field, and
I like
and everybody was there. There was a lot of the best person who spawned sneaking up on everybody who's about to kill each other.
Well, I mean,
so almost like dying for me was more fun, because I die, come back, three are there romping on each other and going in, and that's where I got my triple kill, because you guys were all killing each other and didn't see me, and that was fun. But I don't know.
Did you guys only play deathmatch? Because team deathmatch is completely different than the 4-player deathmatch.
What?
Yeah, I think Steven only played the.
Oh, okay. Because the map for team deathmatch.
We only played 4 people as well. So.
Okay, it's a very different game in team deathmatch. The map is huge. There are like high areas where you climb to the top of like giant buildings and like snipe people from above, and you have like the actual events and stuff, like, you know, the bosses and like the airplanes that drop bombs. Whereas with the 4-player multiplayer deathmatch that I played, it's kind of a small area comparatively. It's like the 2 platform areas, right? But it's very different.
Tell me about sniping. How does that work? And
well, it's one of the items you can get as a sniper rifle, and you can aim with it, you know, just like in any kind of third-person shooter. And yeah, you can just take people apart from afar. I think you only get like 3 or 4 shots though. Same with the rocket launcher. But yeah, it's a very...
What kind of splash damage does the rocket launcher have?
The rocket launcher? I'm not really sure. I was kind of being a little bit of a hyena when I played, like just kind of cornering people when they were least expecting it.
Right.
But it definitely has splash damage, I'm pretty sure.
And the snipers, like what the weapon loadouts that you get when you first start, are they just defined by the character, or how does that?
I don't think you get any items when you first start.
No, you don't. They're dropped, right, in boxes.
They're dropped. Yeah, it's randomized.
So the weapons are very blasé.
From what I can tell, they're sort of the standard weapons.
Or I mean, like, sorry, what you start out with.
I mean, you know, depending on the character, you might have a chainsaw or like the dual blades or the ice attacks that one of the female characters has. You know, in Garuda, you can actually fly on top of Garuda. So you can jump on top of him and he can fly you around if you have a teammate who's playing as Garuda.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, you definitely got to try out the team deathmatch because it's a completely different experience. Like, that's where the game shines, I think. Not in the 4-player deathmatch. It's when you're working as a team with a bunch of other characters with different skills and on a giant map where all hell is breaking loose. You got to try that, man.
You know what to do, Steven?
Yeah, I'll definitely give it another go before I make my decision.
Yep, give it a spin. Yeah, no, I think it's a day one for me.
Yeah,
I felt that way when I first played it, and yeah, I still feel the same way. So, looking forward to play it. I mean, a game like this where you can get like 4 people or potentially 8 people, right?
Yeah,
all playing together in the big team deathmatch. Yeah, awesome, a lot of fun. I just hope everyone I play with has mics.
I just hope everybody gets to play it and Sega doesn't, you know, drop out on Platinum like it looks like they might be.
Yeah, because, what is it, Bayonetta 2?
Bayonetta 2, if it exists, might have been canceled, and Anarchy or Max Anarchy no longer has a release date in America. And all the guys from Platinum were on Twitter and on GAF talking about how, you know, by the way, the Japanese version has all of these languages in it as well, so if you want to import, you can import.
The demo also has English as well.
Yeah, and so they were making it kind of sound a little bit like an English language proper Western release is up in the air, and this game might not actually see the light of day out west. Because there's all that stuff going on with Sega right now, too, so that would be a shame.
Right, yeah, it'd be a real shame if it didn't come to the West. But if it, as I said, if it doesn't, or as you said, if it doesn't, I think you're covered because the game is fully localized.
Yeah, so, except if you want to.
It's also available on PS3 and 360, right?
Yes.
Correct. It's PS3 360.
Yep. We played it on PS3.
But the game is not region-free on 360. That's been confirmed, I believe.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. I think if Sega's really concerned about money, a digital release is also a way they can go if they absolutely have no other way of getting it out. But, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully something happens with that.
So is Xbox's Bayonetta chick just unique to Xbox, or is that...
No, she's on the PS3 as well, I think.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Right, okay, let's move on. Steven played some more Dragon's Dogma, right?
No, that's not worth talking about.
Really?
No, I mean, I don't want to... If anybody's spent 20, 30 hours playing it, and then I don't want them to have to listen to me try to talk about that game.
Okay, I just say that Steven got so frustrated with it, he jumped off a cliff, committed suicide, and switched it off.
Yeah, I mean, like... I don't know how, but a mosquito got in this house and just bit up my feet, so I was kind of irritated that day. So,
yeah, okay, well, so that's our Dragon's Dogma talk.
No, don't put that in the link.
No,
don't put that in.
Stay in. Man, I'm not cutting that. That's funny.
Final
No,
impression.
don't cut it. I mean, just don't put it in the timestamp.
No, I'm not going to timestamp that.
Steve's final impressions on Dragon's Dogma. Mosquitoes suck.
Yeah,
professional journalistic.
Are you actually going to go back to it, or are you going to go sell it?
Well, I talked a lot with a guy at work who's a hardcore RPGer, and I just compared my criticisms, and then he sort of said, "Well, this is how you could have done it," and then I was like, "Oh, well, I obviously don't know what I'm doing." So I don't think I can assess the game right on the spot right now.
So I mean, this is a game that you basically got home, you stuck in your PS3, and then started live streaming it straight away with actually not knowing anything about it, right?
Yeah, there is that expectation you want to show the game rather than play it. And obviously when you want to play an RPG, sometimes you just want to go around and
you need to feel it
every
out,
single room in the immediate area you're in, which is probably the best way to go about it.
You need to feel it out. Right?
Yeah,
Find out what's going on, see how things work, and then when you're comfortable with it, I guess that's when you could live stream. But yeah, you got home, stuck it in your
11
PS3.
hours of work, threw it in. You're watching it going, I'm not really into this.
No.
Let's see some combat. So, yeah, you can't hamster wheel a game. You got to just go around and check out what's under the chips in the box and find the good snacks.
Okay. Elliot, I see that on your tweets that you enjoy going to the city to play some arcade games called Persona.
Yes, I am. A little known fact, I'm a huge fighting game fan. Mostly of the Guilty Gear Blaze Blue kind. I dabble a little bit in Street Fighter 4.
Are you going to get shot for saying Blaze Blue, or is it Blaz Blue, or what?
It's Blaze Blue. That is the correct way to pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure that Kyle said it was Blaz Blue.
That's technically how it probably should be pronounced, but it's meant to be like Blaze Blue, because it's kind of, in the Japanese, there's a little bit of a pun on Brave Blue, because the actual Romaji for it is Bure Buru.
Right.
So there's not actually a Z sound.
Ah.
But that's typical weird Japanese-ness. But it's supposed to be Blaze Blue, from what I gather. But yeah, I'm a big Persona fan as well. And, the Persona 4 arcade game, Persona 4 Arena in the West, and Persona 4 The Ultimate in Mayanoka Arena here in Japan, came out a few months back. And I got in on that really early because I wanted to have, my foot in the door with all the other Japanese players. Mm-hmm. And every weekend I go there maybe twice and play for 2 hours.
Is this a card-based game where you can use an electronic card to
keep your record and stuff?
Keep your record and stuff?
Yes. This is on the... it's on the...
Is it NES?
It's Nessica. It's the Nessica
system.
system.
Live?
Yes, it's Nessica Live.
Nessica Live. Isn't that Taito?
Is it Taito? I'm not sure. I know...
Yeah, it is. It's Taito. Taito Live, right? Yes.
You might be right, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's Taito Live. Okay,
yeah,
so you basically to play the game, the game can track your stats, right? And you use this card, this electronic card.
Yes.
And on the arcade, you use the card, you swipe it, and it reads your information, and it'll store all your information on a database, right?
Yes, it'll store your win-loss records and give you digital currency based on your wins so that you could purchase accessories for your character and stuff.
So it gives you like points as well, right?
Yes, it gives you points.
Okay.
Fun fact, most fighting games in Japan work on similar systems. Street Fighter 4 has card system. Tekken Tag Tournament also has a card system. They all do because of the sort of, you want to keep your win-loss record.
Right.
So you have like a section in your wallet just like full of those cards?
No, I only really play the games that function on that card anyway, so I just have that card. I'm not much of a Tekken player.
But the NES
did you ever like rage quit if you lose a lot and throw your card away? Or I mean, how does that... Is it such a big deal if you have more losses than wins? Or
right now my Persona 4 win-loss record is, at least on record, is 43-72. So that's not awful. It's 43 wins, 70 losses, but this is Japan. The level of play is very high, so I'm pretty happy with just having 40 some odd wins.
Do you get the Arcadia mag?
Yes, every month I go out and buy it.
Wow, nice.
It has some really useful information on combos and stuff like that, so definitely worth picking up. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Persona. I actually wrote up a hands-on that went up on Destructoid a few months back that people might want to check out because there hasn't been a whole lot of Western coverage of this game in terms of actually playing it. Is
somebody going to find it in the wild in the West?
No, not right now. It's not releasing to consoles until August in the West. So,
right.
And same thing in Japan as well. But yeah, it's very, very, very good and well put together. And the thing is it's going to draw in fans who like Persona 4, and it's going to draw in people who just like fighting games. And so you're going to get people from both demographics coming in as well. Something that I think kind of isn't talked about much, but in Japan, there's actually a fair amount of women who play fighting games. It's not really rare to see it, but there's also a lot of women who really like Persona 4. And I've been to the arcade many a time and gone up against many a female player and gotten my butt kicked. But,
are you playing, is she playing on the other side of you?
Yes, she's playing on the other side.
So you can't see, like normally in the States, you're elbow to elbow when you play, but
yeah,
here you can't see the other person usually, right?
Yeah, though I have a torrid rivalry with this female player called, what is it, Pero, which is the sound for licking in Japanese. But she's just this really good Blaze Blue and Persona player that I just can't ever seem to beat. And I've been trying to for like a year and a half now to no avail. But yeah, Persona 4 is a lot of fun. And it looks like Arc System Works is doing a killer job on the story mode for consoles. So it's going to be a full, story mode experience and a sequel to Persona 4. So lots to look forward to there.
Excellent. So with the NES card, do you use that card for any other games? Because there's like 40 titles or something that use that card, right?
Yes, and actually the arcade cabinets have all 40 of those titles that you can select from.
Right, because the arcade machines, they can download these games, right?
They can download the games, and a lot of them are already preloaded, so all you have to do is go up to it, press a certain two buttons at the same time, and you can actually select it yourself. So if a machine is on Persona, and you want to play, I don't know, maybe Blaze Blue, all you have to do is press the buttons and select it yourself and switch the machine.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I mean...
It's very cool.
So, as you said, you've only got one of those cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And it works for all those games as well.
Because one of the tweets we were asking, one of the tweets, I don't know if you've read it, was from Crackalakin Z. He was asking what it was.
Yeah, it's basically the arcade record system that governs a lot of ArcSys games and a lot of the smaller 2D fighters.
It's a pretty awesome system.
It's very cool. Very, very cool.
Excellent. Okay, cool. I think we've lost Steven on the old Skypey, but let's...
No, I'm here.
Oh, you back again? Hello.
I was just worrying I was getting dodgy. Okay.
It's okay, no problem. So
I missed you.
Oh, group hug.
Group hug. Okie dokie. So that was Persona. So the Persona arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
How big is it compared to like a Street Fighter or how big is it to Street Fighter?
You mean like it's cast?
No, it's cast, but like it's like its followers, its gamers? I mean,
Oh, it follows. Right now, I believe it's the number one 2D fighter in Japan,
Really?
which isn't so unexpected because it's brand new.
who is the
But,
who is the developer behind it?
Arc System Works.
Oh,
who
it
made
is?
Guilty Gear and Blaze.
Guilty Gear. Right. Okay. So it's got pedigree.
It's got the pedigree. It's got the franchise name behind it as well.
Yes.
And it seems to me like a lot of Guilty Gear Blaze Blue players are falling in behind it. So, I mean, we'll see in the coming months how strongly it holds up.
Do you think that with this next card you've got, do you think there'd be a way to pull that information that you've already got from the arcade to bring it into your home game when it comes out?
I don't think so, unfortunately. I think it's the same thing with Street Fighter as well. With Street Fighter 4, when you're playing, your record on your PS3 or Xbox 360 is just going to be separate from your one at the arcade.
Wouldn't that be amazing, though, if you could have it all tied together?
That would be very, very cool. But, I mean, maybe there's a fear of abusing it. But I think really the reason is just that most fighting game players in Japan primarily play at arcades rather than at home. In America and other Western countries as well, I believe. I can only speak for what I know, but there's a lot, like, people gathering at someone's house and playing on one console is pretty big.
Right.
Here, that never happens.
No. House is not big enough for a start.
Yeah, and so there's a very different mindset when it comes to playing fighting games. It's a lot, I don't want to say it's less serious, but it's almost like you have people playing at a really high level, but with a casual mindset, because that's just what they do every day. They just go and play and, fool around. And just over the course of time, they get really, really good.
So how much money do you drop every week?
I put a limit. At the most, I will spend 1,000 yen.
Okay, that's not so much. So each game is, what, 100 yen?
100 yen, but I mean, for instance, yesterday, I went to the game center, and I didn't have a lot of money. So I said, okay, I'm only going to use 200 yen. And I lost my first match, so that's 100 yen down the drain. And then I won 5 matches in a row on the next 100 yen. So, I mean, in Japan, your matches you have to win 3 rounds, I believe.
Right.
In order to take the whole match. So you get a lot more play out of your 100 yen. So I mean, I was on the machine for maybe 45 minutes on that 100 yen.
So that 100 yen, you came away pretty satisfied with that, huh?
Very much so, yeah.
Excellent. So is this, I guess you'd be buying a home console so you can get better and you can go and try and beat that girl?
Definitely, and I mean, even if the fighting game wasn't good, I'd probably buy it for the story. But fortunately, the fighting game is fantastic. So,
isn't the fighting game that's just for PS3 360, right?
Correct.
It's not for Vita.
As of right now, it's not for Vita, but I would not be surprised if we see a port of it in the future. Right. Because ArcSys has ported they've ported Guilty Gears to PSP. They ported Blaze Blue to the Vita and the PSP multiple times.
Well, Blaze Blue just came out again for the PSP, the big pack, right?
The version that came out for the PSP is the same one that released on the PS3 and the Vita a while back. So I guess they're just porting it just for those guys.
So they ported it back to the PSP.
Yeah.
Wow. Milking it, huh?
Yeah, small companies, they gotta make do.
Yeah, no problem with that. Okay, cool. So, Wise Origin?
Okay. So, it's funny, on GAF, any thread about this series, they always have a disclaimer about the pronunciation of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know I did it wrong, so... I know it's Eves, but I wanted to see what you said. And then you're about to hammer me. Yes, go on, hammer me.
Okay, I'm going to hammer you, man. Get ready.
Yeah, go on, do it.
Actually, on second thought, maybe not. But East Origin released on Steam this past Thursday in the West for $19.99.
Yes.
Published by Exceed Games, who's worked on a lot of Falcom stuff. This game was actually released in 2006 for Japanese PCs. So, 6-7 years ago going on. If you played any East game like Oath in Felghana or East 7 or Ark of Nephesism, E6, you sort of know what you're getting into, but East Origin is actually a prequel to the entire series and takes place 700-ish years before the first game. And so you play as 3 different main characters who, unlike the lead of the series, Adol, they all have speaking roles, so these aren't silent main characters anymore. And basically, I mean, it's your typical East game, high-speed combat, amazing music, except it actually has a story that I think people would be interested in. It's really well written.
Right.
What's the main premise?
Okay, so you sort of have to have a little bit of kind of Ys background knowledge to immediately understand what I'm about to say, but the two goddesses who sort of reign over the land of Ys go missing, and basically you play three characters who go on a hunt to this tower constructed by demons to find these two goddesses again and bring them back.
That's good. Demons stealing goddesses. That's a pretty good hook.
And it's really interesting, and it's a lot of fun, and if you've ever played a Falcom game, you sort of know the quality you're going to get. But I mean, it's $19.99 on Steam, and it runs on pretty much any computer ever. I have a MacBook Air, and it runs
What's
perfectly.
the art aesthetic? I have no idea. I have not seen this game.
It's a little bit different, actually, from other Ys games. It's kind of... It's anime-esque, but it kind of goes a little bit more toward the serious end, at least with this entry. But it looks very good. It's a very good-looking game, despite being pretty old. And if you like action RPGs, fast action RPGs, I don't think anybody else does them better than Falcom, as far as I know, personally. Mm-hmm. So for $19.99, I mean, you're getting a lot of game for your buck.
I know that you and Kyle both basically cream over these games.
Falcom is my new Square Enix.
Right.
Or I guess Falcom is my new Squaresoft.
Yeah. Square Enix is a big...
Yeah. Squaresoft, back when I used to worship everything they made, that is my Falcom now.
Now you just headbutt Square Enix and fart like Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want.
And then run away as fast as I can.
That's the best way to do it.
Sorry, Square.
Yep, headbutt them. Yep. Okay, cool. You bought a 3DS game, right? Called Guild 1. It's got a scary front cover.
Yeah, I like to call it Scary Mask Game.
Is that the four games in one?
Correct. It sucks because the cover is weird enough as it is, but they actually have a catch copy phrase on the cover. Yotsu no game ga hitotsu ni. They actually have the text saying 4 games become 1 on the cover, and it's so tacky looking, If they had just gotten rid of the text and just had Guild 1 and the face, it'd be weird, but at least it wouldn't look tacky. But, yeah, this is 4 games in 1.
So how much is this? This is cheap.
That's 4,000,
as well,
right?
It's 4,000 yen. So by Japanese standards...
$1,000 a game, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, I've seen it cheaper than that. I've seen it for 3,600 yen.
Yeah.
Right, the MSRP is 4. Yeah, you could get it cheaper.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But, by Japan standards, not bad at all. But I was kind of curious as to how much content was in each game, and I really haven't played enough to be able to tell you. But I played 2 out of the 4 games relatively extensively. The first game is Kaiho Shoujo, so basically Liberation Girl, which was designed by Suda51, No More Heroes, Shadows of the Damned, etc.
Yep.
And this game is basically a shoot-'em-up, a free movement shoot-'em-up, where you play this young schoolgirl who's the president of Japan, and she pilots this robot to...
Wait.
Yeah.
Girl, schoolgirl who's the president of Japan.
Yes.
I heard you right.
So she's a high school girl who became the president of Japan because her father was assassinated by aliens.
So that's a must-buy for Steven.
Wow, that's a hook.
He's got it
somewhere.
He's already bought it.
The game is fully voiced, from what I can tell. And the gameplay is a lot of fun. You fly around this overworld, targeting aliens with your stylus, and then you release your stylus off the touchscreen to shoot lasers. And you get different types of weapons as you get further and further into the game. But the cool thing is you go to very specific places in Japan. So the first area is, I believe, Tokyo. The second area is Kumamoto in Kyushu, which I've been to. So
the castle.
I've been there as well.
Yep. And then this next area...
the Black Castle?
Yes, I believe. I think. Right? Maybe. Don't take my word for it. But the third area...
Colorblind. Say you're colorblind.
I am.
Yeah. What's black? I don't speak English. But the third area is Osaka, and I'm assuming there are more areas after that, so it's actually kind of cool getting to go to these real places in Japan. The game looks okay. Kaiho Shoujo looks okay. Frame rate works fine. It's a lot of fun, so I've been enjoying that. The other game I got to try was Crimson Shroud, which was designed by Yasumi Matsuno, who some of you may know for such games as Vagrant Story. So he's a pretty well-known name around these parts. And it's basically a tabletop Dungeons and Dragons style adventure RPG game.
And he's actually a level 5 guy, because it's
a
level 5 on the front.
Yes.
And he's a real level 5 developer, right?
Out of these 4 developers, he's the only one who's an actual level 5 developer.
Right.
Yeah. And, he brought in Sakamoto, who worked on Final Fantasy 12 for music, and various other of the games, I think Tactics as well. And it's mostly text. This is the sort of thing, if you have your expectations in check, this game could be really cool or really awful, depending on what you think you're getting. It's mostly a text adventure, and you have like a map of a dungeon, and you can pick where you want to go, and you actually have to roll a dice to make certain decisions. And I think it's if you get over 10, then that action succeeds. If you get less than 10, then it fails, something like that.
So it's just like 2 dice.
Yeah, you actually roll
6-sided dice or something, or something like that. No,
the game doesn't have much in the way of animation. You'll have characters in the background, but it's kind of like a still image. It's a mix between a visual novel and
a board game. Is it board gamey?
Not even really a board game, because that stuff isn't there. It really is like a pen and paper RPG. Except the story is really, really good. It's that type of high fantasy that Matsuno is known for. And it's really well written and interesting, and the music is beautiful. I'm kind of fascinated with this game because I don't know if I really like it yet, but I'm really intrigued.
I'm reading right here that just for the level 5 developer Matsuo's, was it Yasumi is his name?
Yasumi Matsuno.
Right.
He's on holiday.
So his section is, to get to the end, it's 5 to 8 hours. So
wow, okay.
Does that sound about right?
I mean,
I've played.
I've only played about 40 minutes of Crimson Shroud, but if it's 5 to 8 hours, then that's a great value.
He says, if you're playing it through as a normal pace, take it through its normal pace is 5 to 8.
Because the game has like an equipment system, items, you can save, of course. So it's clearly designed to be a little bit bigger. But yeah, that was really interesting, and I'm looking forward to digging more into that. The other 2 games I have not gotten the chance to try yet, unfortunately. The first one is...
That's the Arrow Porter, right?
Yeah, Arrow Porter, which was designed by Yute Saito of Seaman fame for the Dreamcast. And this game is basically you control the... what is it called?
The baggage claim?
Yeah, the baggage claim, to make sure that bags get into planes on time, and that helps bring more customers in. And I guess it's kind of a simulation game as well, a little bit.
Isn't this been around for a while, this particular...
I've heard it, yeah, but I can't quite...
I can't remember, but I remember walking to some guy's house in 1998, just seeing him managing an airport going, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
but kind of fascinated at the same time, because we've all been there. We've all been managing, going, I could do that way better. So,
exactly,
you get your chance.
So, I mean, I'm not sure how much Yarikomi, how much depth this has. But, I mean, it's the Seaman guy. He makes weird games. So, and the final game is the only one that's not made by an actual developer or actual game creator.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, you'll see what I mean. It's called Rental Bukia de Omase, which roughly translates to like Omase's rental weapon shop, I think, something like that.
Oh, this guy is a comedian, right?
Yes, he's a comedian. His name is Yoshiyuki Hirai. I've never seen him on TV.
He's got a cheesy bow tie. I'm only saying this because I'm looking in Famitsu and they've got a whole write-up on it. So, yeah, he looks like a cheesy bow tie, very Osaka-like.
Yeah. But ironically, I think the premise of the game is actually pretty interesting. It's like a rhythm RPG where you tap in different ways on weapons to create swords and axes and stuff like that to give to RPG heroes, essentially. So it's like you're playing as the store characters that you would go to in an RPG to get your weapons and armor and stuff like that. Again, I have no idea how much depth this actually has compared to the 2 games that I have tried, but it looks interesting enough, and at the very least, I would say that my time with Kaiho Shoujo and Crimson Shroud alone justified the purchase, I think.
I was going to ask you, how many hours have I actually put into this?
Not many, honestly. But if, for instance, if I could play Kaiho Shoujo for 5 hours and I could play Crimson Shroud for 8 hours total, those 2 games alone I think would have justified my purchase.
It's already justified the purchase.
Yeah.
Then.
And if the other 2 games happen to be cool too, then that's great. But I think in the bigger picture, I like the idea of this Guild series because, Guild 2 already got announced. And it's going to have Keiji Inafune and
That's pretty awesome.
And a few other designers as well. And it's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but I can't imagine it's going to take very long. But I like the idea that there's going to be like a Guild 3 and a Guild 4, and they're just going to bring all these different Japanese developers to come in and just make something interesting. Maybe something they wouldn't normally make.
Would you like to see it, like this all, 4 disparate parts, would you like to see it where there's more continuity between them, or?
If anything, what I think they should be doing, and I know why they're not, but what I think they should be doing is releasing them separate for 1,000 yen a piece on the 3DS store. As opposed
I agree
to
with you. That's one thing they're missing.
But the reason they're not, the reason I think they're not, is because Japan is so averse to downloading like games that I feel like they don't think it'll sell quite as much if they just package it together in a box.
Marketing wise, I think I like this because it's like they have an interview here where they're all there talking about their games together. And that's kind of a good idea.
Another cool thing that I forgot to mention is in the game itself, when you get to the game menu, it's the 4 different games you can select. And then when you pick one, you can actually read this brief introduction by each of the creators talking about what they were thinking when they made the game, what was their sort of process behind it, why did they do it. So it's a really interesting package, and I think it's really creative, and I would like to see more.
I don't know, what I really liked about Tokyo Jungle is you get to hear another developer talking about somebody else's game, and I don't know if the 3 guys who didn't develop said game had to talk about it rather than the guy who developed it. I think it would be kind of interesting, showing that they're all together and they're all vested.
Definitely.
As a product rather than just one guy going, oh, here's my game. All right, next you talk about your game. Next you talk about your game. And maybe we'll rift about it. Something there needs, I don't know, seems like it needs some sort of angle.
And I feel like that material's been there in the magazines, but it hasn't been there. Like, I think it'd be cool to have it on the game itself,
on the game or
like a round table
in video form, like they were doing for Tokyo Jungle, where you can actually go in and see that stuff.
Agreed. I'm kind of disappointed that this probably, at least in its current form, will not be heading west. I personally don't think it will. I think some of these are a little bit, I don't want to say too Japanese,
right?
And the thing, that's the weird thing too, is when I say too Japanese, I kind of mean that in a good way, in that sort of.
But how do you market something that's being designed by a comedian in the West?
That's the biggest hurdle for this one, at least, is I'm
still trying to figure this out. How does it actually get made?
Probably he has a production team behind him, and he comes up with the concept behind the game. But
because Seisaku ni Hatsuchousen suru koto ni, so he actually is involved. He got his hands deeply in the development. It seems.
I'm wondering if that's more along the lines of how Arino did with the games, with the Retro Game Master DS games, or if he actually has some experience with developing things and sat down and really dug deep.
Yeah, because if he's got a big listener base, who like him as a comedian, they're going to want to play his game. So that's a smart thing to bridge those two.
Definitely.
Interesting to see.
Level 5 does some interesting things. I'm not always behind their business decisions, but Hino is a smart man. So I'm interested in seeing how this sells, personally. I bet they're not expecting massive numbers, but I think if it does 30,000 copies, that'll be solid for a game like this.
With the price points as it is, I can see a lot of people just picking it up because they're curious, because they go, oh, look at that, that's pretty cheap for a DS game, a 3DS game.
I was interested in 2 out of the 4, and that was enough to push me to just drop the cash on it on a whim. So
you can just play any game you want in any order, right?
And
any order you want, and they all have their own title screen, their own. It's like you're entering another game, pretty much.
Very Neo Geo.
The box is enticing anyway. Just the front cover is enough to make you pick it up and look at it.
Definitely. As weird as that cover is, it's because it's weird that it's interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, that alone making you pick it up and then look at it and then flipping it over and go, oh, it's 4 games in one, you know, and then you read into it. And then you look at the price and say, oh, that's not bad, you know.
Yeah.
So I think they're on for a bit of a winner. So I'm pretty sure it'll sell. It's not going to like sell crazy numbers, but I think it'll sell pretty well just for for the content.
So
the
this
price.
is going for Guild of Developers, kind of. Is that their angle?
I think
like,
that's the idea.
We're all together as one big group in the industry.
And you know, I think this is a cool idea because at their big companies and the big studios, I feel like developers don't really get the chance to experiment that often anymore. And I think in a form like this, they can try new and unique ideas that might not otherwise work. You know, something like Crimson Shroud, for instance, which plays like Dungeons and Dragons. Like, would that really be viable as like a big budget like title right now? Or is this possible because it's a quarter of a bigger package, you know? Like something like Arrow Porter as well, you know what I mean? So I think it's cool that there's a medium now for these developers to try and do something a little bit different from the norm.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I like this. I want to see the type of guys who make a game with Keiji Inafune, what type of games come out.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I think we should move on.
All right.
Yeah, let's get to Famitsu Zasshi time. Zasshi time. Steven, this is your train. Let's ride it.
Oh, right.
Oh, God.
Okay, so...
Don't worry, I wasn't going to go there.
No.
You did it, didn't you?
Yeah, almost. I was almost slipped off.
Not much track left. Not much track left until E3. In fact, Nintendo Direct is going to be shooting off with on June 3rd, right? Which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
With President Satoru's reveal of the Wii U. So, yeah, we're going to still talk about it. So I guess this is going to be a situation of kind of our predictions, or Famitsu's predictions about what's going to go down at E3.
You'll know if we're wrong by you listening to this.
Well,
right.
shall we do the scores first before we get into all that?
We can do. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's get to. Let's just do the scores first. Just run it down first before we get into the Famitsu E3 predictions.
Okay.
For a game that we were talking about last week, that we all got hyped up for, with it's got elephants with roller skates.
Game of the year, all years.
Game of the year. Yep. Tokyo Jungle in Famitsu got 8,888.
What does that mean?
What does it mean? Does it mean it's? I mean, me and Steven watched a live stream on Nico Nico.
That's right, on Friday, just before we played Max of Anarchy.
Yeah, they played Max Anarchy and Steel Battalion on 360, and then they switched over to Tokyo Jungle.
Yeah, they had 2 chicks there, and actually Kataoka, he's really young. I couldn't believe he's only 26 years old. He's the head guy of Crispies, who's the developer for the game.
Right.
So I was like, wow, young guy. But yeah, they had 2 chickadors there in Bay, as they usually do. One girl was wearing she had a hat, which was essentially a teapot and a big cake on top of it.
As you do?
Why not?
Why not?
She was really into the game.
Yes.
So yeah, but because of that, one thing I don't like about it is somebody who knows a decent amount about Tokyo Jungle, they gotta dumb it down. Essentially, I'm not trying to be not sexist here or anything, but they're just not gamers, and it shows. So they have to ignore all the people who know a lot about the game, and like the 10,000 people who are, I think there are 10,000 people watching the stream at any given moment in there. I'm sure a lot of the people pretty much know a lot about it by then. So I was kind of hoping they would go a little bit hardcore and show us some stuff.
Right.
But yeah, all we got to see was the cheetah, and then we got to see some co-op play, and they had, I think one girl was
one was a cheetah, and one was
cheetah,
a chick.
and the other one was like a little chick.
Yeah. And she was just constantly chasing. The chick was constantly chasing the cheetah because the cheetah was so fast. The chick couldn't keep up.
Until you couldn't even see the chick. It would be coming down this alley, and it's not just right and left. You can actually go back and forward. So it was like going down this alley, and it was walking towards you, like walking towards the screen and down this alley, and you could barely see the chick just flapping away. I'm just like, what? What is this?
What's going on?
I was hoping like how in Studio Ghibli, like some of the movies, they have like a big animal and then this tiny little animal like kind of latches on, like goes for a ride or something like that. They didn't have that. Like I was hoping this little chick could like hop on the cheetah's ear or something like that and hold on. But yeah, so that was like, what is this? It's like you got a herbivore and a carnivore playing together. I would like, you think two carnivores or two herbivores. And it was kind of like the first time I went, really? Yeah, I kind of like critiqued the game in like a kind of in a very like I don't know if I agree with that. But yeah, well, I don't know. What did you think? You saw it.
Well, first of all, the woman who was playing it, the non-gamer, she was surprised that dogs ate meat.
Right. Well, this is the whole thing. This is the whole thing. I mean, you have the developer. He's finally got a chance to speak directly to all these people who are really interested in the game. Instead, he has to stop for a second, explain why dogs are carnivorous, have a carnivorous bias over. And she's like, well, dog food doesn't have meat, right? And he's just like, and
Yeah. Yeah, you have to stop her and explain to her that dogs ate meat.
Like, you cannot talk about the game. You got to break it down to that level. You can see we're not going to see much.
We're already screwed.
Yeah, but anyways, the Famitsu said 8888. From what I saw on the stream, and what I've seen while playing it when I went to the showing that they had at the little event at the big camera in Nagoya. Yeah, the animation is definitely janky. It's terrible. The game itself, it looks so much fun, but I think the charm of the janky animation and everything just not looking pretty, I think that's part of the charm.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll be interested because I did read the reviews in almost said Zasshi time again, in Famitsu, and they kind of critiqued it a little bit. Some of the things that stuck out were that obviously you have 50 animals to choose from, the herbivores and carnivores. They're largely divided in the two categories, plant eaters and then meat eaters. In case we have any girls with teapots or with cakes on their hats who don't know what a carnivore is, or meat eaters and plant eaters. And he said, like, the midway through the game, from the midway point to the end of the game, the sort of the whole thing of eating and to stay alive starts to feel a little bit like a chore.
Yeah, and you know what? Dengeki PlayStation also reviewed the game this week and gave it 85, 90, 80, 70. And a coinciding point among all the reviewers was that regardless of what animal you pick, toward the second half it starts to feel a little bit like a chore.
Same thing?
Yeah, right. The word they use for it is, what is it, like?
They said sagyoteki.
Yeah, sagyoteki ni wa chotto zannen kana. Like, it's a little bit, oh well. And also they said that movement was, like, unpredictably a little bit annoying.
Yeah, you noticed that with the Pomeranian. I mean, the Pomeranian can jump at least 15 feet in the air, and it just looks a bit
Nico Nico Dogu, when you're watching it, Nico Nico Dogu in Japan, when you're watching, you can actually type and then the text appears over the screen in Terp style, and a lot of people are like, epic jump! And then everyone would do like the Razor Ramon, when the dog is jumping. And but everything else was kind of like at that same level of jumping.
Yeah, I mean, everything jumps like the same height, but I mean, the Pomeranian is like what? It's like it's like half a foot tall, but it's jumping like on the top of like on the top of a train station. The subway, the hood, right. The entrance, the subway entrance. It's jumping on top of that, and then it's jumping onto a highway, and it's like. That's like 30, 40 feet, and it's done it in 2 jumps. It's crazy. So it does look dumb, but I think that's, as I said before, it's part of the charm. So
they did say that the story mode presentation it's pretty densely packed, and that makes it all the more enjoyable.
Right.
So yeah. I think they're it's just sort of just it's a mixed bag. I think you're gonna play it and you're gonna start to see the holes in the cheese.
Well,
halfway
it's
through.
out this Thursday. Are you guys picking it up, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've already bought my copy.
Yeah, you've already bought your copy.
I'll go for a flying get on Wednesday.
Flying get Wednesday, excellent. Yeah, okay.
Just a few more things. They did say that each area of the map had its own unique characteristics, but they would have liked to have seen more some playable areas outside of Shibuya, because it is called Tokyo Jungle. It isn't Shibuya Jungle, right. But it sounds like the game is Shibuya Jungle.
Well, isn't that where they're based?
I think so.
Yeah, so I guess they just went outside, took photographs, and said that'll do.
Right.
Easy recon.
Yeah, and they did mention that the whole leveling up and to unlock items kind of keeps you motivated through the whole thing. So even though it might feel like one person here says it's a bit routine, because of that kind of keeps you like energized to plow through it. The actual length of the game, it says like each single survival mode takes like about 30 minutes to an hour. But what I learned, I didn't really know this up until now, but they have this, in Japanese they say, Jinrui ga kieta nazo ga kaimei no kaimei made 20時間以上. So there is a whole new story that I didn't know about of you having to, through playing with all these different animals, uncover why the truth behind the sudden disappearance of humankind.
I'm interested in that. Yeah.
I didn't know about that. And then Kataoka, that was one thing he was able to reveal during the stream, was that I guess there's some punchline at the end of that whole thing.
Oh God, watch it be a non-serious punchline.
Did you also know that I think this was the first game in Japan to be a pre-download? You can actually download it now.
Oh, pre-download it. You can
pre-download it now. You can pay for it now, and then on the Thursday when it comes out, it unlocks.
So yeah, right. You can just press play right away, right?
Basically, yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That's big for the PlayStation 3, I think.
Yeah, I think Sorcery did that in the West.
Did it? I have no idea.
I think it did. I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy, but yeah. Famitsu.
I don't play Western games.
Yeah, I do, but I don't talk about it. Unlike another podcast, but I won't mention them. Hype Train.
Stop.
Anyway.
Stop.
Tokyo Jungle. You can pre-download it if you want to. If you've got the bucks or you've got the yens, you can go download it now, but you won't be able to play it until the Thursday when it's released. Sweet. Okay, moving on. Lollipop Chainsaw, Dengeki review.
Yes.
Elliot.
Dengeki PlayStation reviewed Lollipop Chainsaw this week, even though it comes out on the 14th of June in Japan. I got a 75, a 90, a 90, and an 80.
Oh, that's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's a little all over the place. The main complaint with the 75,
right?
Just at a quick glance, is mostly camera-related issues.
Japan and their cameras, eh? They're never going to get them right, are they?
Things about, like, not being able to turn off the kill camera, lock-on being really annoying in small, cramped spaces. And he doesn't get too specific. He just kind of says, and just little things here and there are kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. And the other complaint that has me a little bit worried is that the loading in stages can be a little bit Like, he says that there's a lot of loading mid-stage. So,
so the game's going to be playing and it's going to pause?
He doesn't specify. He just says, stage 中に何度も読み込みが入るのも残念. So, like, apparently probably for going from area to area within a stage.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I don't know.
Say something positive about it. What he said, I should say, not you.
The combat is a lot of fun and really easy to pick up. The background music is apparently also very, very good. And there's just a lot of content, apparently. It's kind of the big thing that I'm reading across all 4 different reviews. Apparently there is no install function, so that would probably be the root of the load problems from what I'm gathering. But the game itself seems like it's really fun. It's just those kind of nagging typical issues that you kind of expect to find, unfortunately, in Japanese games.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a shame.
Bit of a shame, but I'm still interested.
Are you going to pick it up?
Maybe not day one, but because I might have a little bit too much on my plate at that point. But Because I think
That's
Persona 4 comes out that
that's
same.
June 14th.
Yeah, that's
right?
Persona Day.
Yeah. That's Persona Day, so sorry, Lollipop Chainsaw.
I might pick it up.
But I'll pick it up at some point.
You're just picking up for the boobies, right?
Oh, Steven.
Steven. We know
What?
you.
What?
Nothing.
Didn't
Next.
say anything.
Famitsu E3 big predictions. Go on. What are Famitsu predicting about?
Right.
They got their crystal balls out. Oh, ball.
Sony buys Microsoft.
That's the one.
Right. So basically, this kind of just this is sort of just add a caboose to the conversation that we had last week about things we'd like to see and what we'd expect to see.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Famitsu turned to the financial results briefing that was given at the, obviously at the end of each fiscal year, Nintendo is obliged to talk to their shareholders.
Right.
And they did that April 27th, so just about a month ago. So that's like the last time that Iwata had a big sit down in front of everybody and talked at length. So this is really all that Famitsu can go on. I was hoping they divulge something that based on insider knowledge about recent developments that they hear, but they never seem to do that. So that was a bit unfortunate. But they do mention that at E3 specifically that they're going to be showcasing the final format of Wii U. They're going to discuss the details, and we're going to get the whole software lineup for this year. That's one thing that we're going to be able to definitely get. But and they do talk about. They remind us that we came out in December 2nd of 2006, and that the Wii release date and prices were announced in September 2006, just before Tokyo Game Show at the Wii preview conference. So they say it's safe to assume that we can expect, the price information when it's going to be released sometime probably after summer, is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe a little bit sooner after E3. So what do you guys think?
Were you thinking maybe like a Nintendo Direct sort of thing?
What's that?
Were you thinking like maybe a Nintendo Direct sort of thing?
Oh, you mean like their own
Yeah, their
conference? Well, yeah, that seems to be what they're sort of hinting at, like the Wii preview conference that they had. So it'll probably be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of very flaccid, right?
Yeah.
There. I was hoping they'd be able to, put themselves on the line. Get the guys in a room, get a nice bottle of alcohol, and go, what do you think's going to happen? That's what I want to see.
Well, they need Itagaki for that, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, man. Itagaki, if he worked at Famitsu, do you know how awesome that would be?
Awesome.
Lawsuits?
Damn.
No.
No?
No. I don't know.
No, probably not.
His game must have been crap because THQ dropped it.
Yeah. But then again, THQ is going through their own complete, self-destruction, so...
True. Oh, fair enough. Okay, so what have they not got any kind of, predictions at all?
They think Gree is going to come out with a surprise announcement.
At E3?
Right.
Yeah, for the Wii U.
Oh, really?
Or, that's what it looks like. Yeah, I'm only taking a quick glance, but it looks like, they're expecting Gree to have a really strong presence and do something amazing.
Oh, God.
Because that's number 3 on their list, so...
Free to play games, free to play Nintendo games, all monetized by Gree.
Anyway.
You can't see me rolling my eyes, but I'm blind right now.
Right. Well, what I wanted to go back to, though, is because we were talking about, last podcast about the games that we're gonna expect to see, and I think they're doing their their software showcase is going to be June 6th, right? At 6 p.m. So, if you look, Famitsu talked about all the different games that they launched, over the past 6-7 years, and how many games came out. The DS had 12 games, the Wii had 16, the 3DS had pathetic 8. And Famitsu says, okay, we expect at least 10. Very flaccid. But they did say that, I guess Nintendo has been they have this certain phrase for their best selling for first publisher games. They call them evergreen titles.
They call it what?
Evergreen titles, which are essentially games that will always sell.
Oh, you mean cha-ching?
Cha-ching. So like something like Pikmin or like Mario.
Right.
And so they're expecting that you're going to see one or two of these evergreen title games.
Well, I think they need to have learned from their past mistakes that they definitely need a Mario.
The Wii and 3DS had just their launch games were so bad.
Yes. I'm really hoping that they've learned by their mistakes and they bring a Mario title. I also hope they bring a Mario Kart and a Pikmin. And
that's what they said. I guess it was like Miyamoto said that in some Spanish newspaper recently, that's probably what you'll be able to expect alongside the Wii U is Mario and Pikmin.
I think if they could at least get Pikmin out, that would be a victory. Like some kind of like big first party
recognizable IP, right?
Well-beloved title. Just one. Even one alone is enough to float their system.
2 would be pretty amazing.
2 would be amazing, but I feel like I can't expect that from them.
I think they're going to put out 2 these evergreens.
I don't quite understand why Nintendo are like fracturing everything into separate bits. They've got E3, then they've got this Nintendo Direct, and then they have another announcement in when? In July, you said?
I'm sorry?
They've got E3. They've got Nintendo Direct.
Well, I mean, their preview conference whenever they're about to announce all the remaining information. That was so like for Wii, that was September, just before Tokyo Game Show. So if they're going to do their own conference before Tokyo Game Show again, which I would assume they will because they're not very vocal at Tokyo Game Show.
They're fragmenting everything, right?
Yeah, that's what they always do.
Is that wise?
But I mean, they're getting a chance to show everything as they really want to show it,
and they steal the headlines too. They're not sharing the headlines with anybody. Really.
Right. That's what I was. I was looking for that kind of response. So
yeah.
I guess they do it obviously because they don't have to share E3 with everybody else because obviously during E3 everyone's like spitting news out left, right, and center. So
exactly, and news and soft at the same time is just information overload.
Yeah,
definitely.
They have their own Nintendo focus. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they've got. It's Nintendo. I grew up on it. I mean,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing the final format and the specs.
I'm probably going to end up buying one of these at some point, regardless. As I said before, and I know I sort of ragged on Nintendo of Wii U a little bit last episode. But I mean, I am excited for this because I think E3 is made better when there's new hardware to show.
Yes.
And it's when there's no new hardware that E3 really flatlines for me personally. So I'm looking forward to a more exciting E3 this year.
You mean you're saying that the PSP Go didn't make you excited when Sony...
I just scratched my head. It said, too early, Sony. Too early.
Yeah. No, I was there.
What kind of stuff do you want to see on their online interface? I mean, like recently, in the past year, like Xbox is just this all-in-one entertainment mess, and it's like the hardcore gamer has got to like swim through all the Netflix garbage if they're not. I mean, there is no like hardcore gamer theme option where you can have it oriented to gamers. I hope that their online channel.
I mean.
Game oriented.
Well, I feel like I might get attacked for saying this, but I actually currently, in its current form, I prefer browsing on the PlayStation Network over browsing stuff on Xbox Live. I think because I think it's just because it's
hard to find a game. It's hard to find a game when it comes out.
Yeah,
the current Xbox interface.
Well, I think
it's ridiculous.
We've got it easier in Japan because there's not as much.
It's true. There's not as much to actually browse through.
But yeah, on the States, there's a whole lot of crap you've got to get through.
Because when I downloaded the Steel Battalion demo for the first time, I was on the US Xbox
Marketplace,
system.
right?
It was just Marketplace, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah, it's too much, right? No, being Nintendo, I hope they actually kill their friends codes and they just have like an online ID that's persistent across the whole platform, including the 3DS as well. Maybe they bring out a new OS for the 3DS, and so the 3DS and the Wii U can work together in conjunction under one tag.
That'd be nice.
But
I'm a little bit worried about that though, because I don't know, everything we've been hearing about how Nintendo has been trying to court third-party developers and publishers by possibly allowing them to have their own sort of online space within like the Nintendo shell kind of concerns me, that we'll be seeing things like, oh, you have an EA account, or you have like a THQ account or a Capcom account, and all these different sort of login details.
Well,
Absolutely.
Surely when you log in once, though, under your Capcom login, that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do... Did any of you guys play Metal Gear Solid 4 when it came out?
The
for the PlayStation 3?
Was it the
the multiplayer, and how you
Yes.
had to have like a separate
Yes.
account to use the multiplayer?
Yes.
Like, I'm nervous that that's what Nintendo's doing as a way of drawing in third parties by being like, here, you're welcome to do what you want to do. Like, oh, Call of Duty? Like, yeah, you can have your Call of Duty sign-in information as well, And that concerns me a little bit.
Don't you think that they're looking at like the way 360 or the way Microsoft and the way Sony have done it, and see how people, and maybe Steam as well, and seeing how easy it is?
I mean, I think they are, but at the same time, I think because they want to entice the third parties, because, I mean, historically, third parties just haven't done very well on Nintendo machines. Nintendo's typically done fine without third parties,
yeah.
But third parties don't do well.
Right.
And so they need to give third parties a reason to want to, make Wii U their home. And, in the case of, like, the big games like Call of Duty or Battlefields and stuff like that, like, something they could have over the PS3 and the 360 would be offering, these companies the freedom to do what they want in the online space. So I don't know. I mean,
do you want to have it so that you're not paying like just a yearly fee? Do you want it to always continue to be free for all that stuff?
I think it's Nintendo. It's definitely going to be free. I can't see them splintering their audience by making it paid.
Yeah,
like if you want to play this particular game online, you're going to have to pay. You don't see that.
No, Nintendo likes keeping it simple. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing,
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Yeah, the Nintendo likes to keep it simple.
I do like the fact that in the last in April 27th, when Iwata was talking to the shareholders, he did mention that consumers will be able to just pay visits to the game shops, and then you'll be able to find the product you like. You hold it, watch the video there, make your purchase decision. You can actually pay for the product there, and then the retailers can give you a 16-digit code, and you can still download it directly.
That's definitely one way to make retailers happy.
I really like that they're not alienating the retailer and then still getting you into the shop.
So hang on, wait, what? So you're browsing games on the Wii U, and you're paying for these games from like Best Buy?
Well, there's different ways you can buy them. Like, you could buy a boxed game, you could buy the game off of the Wii U console itself in like the online store, or you could go to the store, buy a digital copy of the game there, get the code, go home, put it in, and have the game like that. I think is what they're getting at.
Basically, they're getting around having to go in and buy a $50 online prepaid card.
Yeah,
you could just pay for the game you want. Like, I do not like having to go onto my online account and see I only have $4 left, and I want to buy a $5 game. I kind of really hate that. I like to be able to just go out and get the game, and then not buy too much either. Like, oh, this game only costs $5, and I got to buy a $20 card or a $10.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of like that.
And at the same time, wouldn't that give retailers the option of being able to price the download codes at whatever they want, pretty much, kind of like how they do with retail games? Like, now, instead of, how with like Sony, you go onto the PSN and you have, if you're going to buy a digital game, you have the PSN. That's it. You buy the PSN game at whatever price they put it at, and you don't have any other shopping options. Whereas with this, I mean, theoretically, I guess you could say that Nintendo has it on their store. Let's say Nintendo has it for 500 yen on their store, some digital download game. Or you could go to the store, like the actual physical store, and they might have the digital download game for 400 yen, 100 yen cheaper.
I think that's the idea.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool that now you'll finally have options when it comes to the digital world as well, which I think is really neat.
And people are still hesitant to that psychological barrier of purchasing something online.
Exactly, especially here in Japan.
I think it's a really good way of kind of corralling in those types of people.
I know that some people like having the physical copy. So how would you feel about buying a digital version and then on the store itself clicking like send me a box manual, and then they send a box of manual?
That would be nice.
So you could just have it on your shelf, just so you've got something to look at, so and it comes in the box. It'll have like a printed. Like a serial number, so you know that you've downloaded it and it's yours, and if you lose it and you have to
sounds like you need like a picture on a wall, like a frame.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's just something to have, physical thing, and it'll have like the code that you could maybe, if you, as I said, your machine dies or whatever, or you need to re-download it again, and you can't find your code in your email or something, you can take the box off the shelf and you've got your code, and you can just re-enter the code, and then it'll download again. You put your back on the shelf. Would you be interested in something like that? Or would you just say, okay, I'm digital.
No way in Japan with no space. No, I don't want the boxes.
But there's a lot of people who do like something physical, especially when like from one machine to another. Like when they're going. Some people get scared with digital because they're saying, "Oh, is it going to work? Am I going to be able to use it on my next machine?"
Mm.
So just having something tangible in your hand.
Well, I feel like in that case, then you'd probably just buy the actual physical copy of the game at the store instead of the digital code at the store.
Well, say for instance that all the games are all you could pre-download it, so you didn't have to go to the store. You know, and when like it was 12:01, it unlocked and you could play it straight away. 12:01, boom.
Yeah.
And in Japan we don't have late night openings, do we? We don't have.
I mean, sometimes up in Tokyo, maybe, but not in the smaller
but it's like 7:00 in the morning. It's not midnight launch.
No, that's true.
Yeah, well, what you said about Tokyo Jungle, I think, is the perfect solution, right? It's sitting there waiting for you. Your console's impregnated, and it's just going to pop out.
Yeah, so
that's a great image.
That's what I'm saying. So you preloaded the game, but you've also paid like an extra 500 yen or something to get the box delivered to you with a manual and a download code just in case you lose.
That's so like flaccid. I mean, just you get here's your box.
Yeah, I know, but as I said, people like physical. Some people like something that they can physically hold in their hand. I don't know. I'm just.
Well, I think this is especially big. I know what you're saying too, Martin. I think in Japan, especially, this kind of goes for a lot of elements of Japan, but there's a lot of love put into like the aesthetic of the visual side of things, like boxes and presentation, that kind of thing.
True that.
And I mean, there's a special edition of every single game that has ever been released. And sometimes these special editions don't even cost extra money. You just got to pre-order them. So, I mean, like, there's definitely a love of having, like, a nice box.
If you get the artwork, though, as long as the artwork if it's in digital form or what have you, I guess if you get it, wouldn't.
Because, I mean, for example, there's the Eco Shadow of the Colossus double pack that came out, the HD collection, right? And, like, that box set is beautiful.
Yes.
And, it comes with this really nice printed art book with, great paper quality. And the box itself is beautiful. And, the disc cases are beautiful. And it's when companies put that kind of love into presentation that I think people are willing to, like, put the money into getting a physical copy. And, in my case, I would pick something like that over a digital copy any day of the week if I have the option. Just because, when I look at my Eco Shadow of the Colossus set, it's a beautiful piece of, work sitting on my shelf versus, the digital code, which is great for some games. I have Ragnarok Odyssey on my Vita, and I purchased it digitally because it's a multiplayer title, and I'll probably never take it off. But, there's some games, like Gravity Days, that I wanted to physically own, and, that was cool because it came with an art book, but even beside that, I like just being.
I don't know. I'm not into figures or anything like that, but like a box is very functional, and it's sort of not functioning like it normally should. There's nothing going in there really aside from, I guess, the manual and whatnot. But I feel like you would need something else.
Well,
and I don't like figures,
code.
but something.
The product code could be in there.
Right.
Maybe they could show you different artworks, and like they put postcards in there, and you could choose from different artworks that you like. And
if it was very thin, I don't know.
You know, I don't know. I was just throwing it out.
No, it's an idea. It's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, this thing wouldn't come straight away, obviously, because they'd have to manufacture it and that. So, but yeah, oh well. Next, anyways, carry on. Let's carry on. Was there anything else?
Wait, no, I'm just kind of curious. How many games would you like to see? Do you want to see something
like just high profile games? I'm not talking about everything. Like
so one or two of these evergreen titles, and then...
or some say like niche games as well, like the cave games. You know, they come with some interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're saying to expect something like Ninja Gaiden 3 as well to show up. But see, the problem with
Razor's Edge, Tekken, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Those are all games that are known to be under development for it, right?
Yeah. The thing with Tekken, though, for instance, is like if it's not Tekken Tag Tournament 2, then it doesn't really matter. Because Tekken Tag Tournament 2 in Japan is like the Tekken game. Like it's essentially Tekken 7 as far as everybody else is concerned.
Right.
So like anything less than that, I don't see anybody having particular interest in. And Ninja Gaiden 3 sold like 5 copies in Japan. So no one gives a crap about that game either.
Right.
So it's like it's going to be the usual kind of like third-party games that are kind of not shovelware, but, you know, like launch titles.
So basically, Famitsu's E3 big predictions were pretty weak.
Yeah. I think so.
They're like Daioso, and I'm just like, it made me want to really get it, and then looking at it.
Didn't they have like 6 pages, though, in Famitsu of the E3 predictions, and there's nothing in there? They're just...
Well, I mean, it's just really broken down into very simple terms. Like, here are the dates of the conference.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like number 5 is new hardware will be unveiled. Duh. Really? Really? Famitsu, just get out the house. Seriously, the door.
Well, no. What they say is the most likely you're going to get new versions. If you're going to get anything, you're going to get new versions of current models. You're going to get color variations. You're going to get price drops. What price drops? Well, Nintendo probably drop the DSLL. Maybe PlayStation 3 will drop. Vita's the dark horse. Chances are next to nil. Microsoft you might see like piggybacking with Kinect. And but they're probably going to actually wait for the Wii until the Wii U price is announced before they do something like that.
Yeah, and then
it's all very kind of conservative.
Yeah, their publisher, their like maker predictions too are very weak. It's like Konami, Metal Gear Rising is going to be a big part of their presentation. Duh.
I know some solid info on the new Super Mario Brothers 2 due out in August for the 3DS.
Capcom. They're going to talk about Lost Planet 3. Thanks. I had no idea.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Did the PlayStation Dengeki, did that have anything in it regarding E3?
Nothing particularly interesting now that I got a chance to look at it. Very vague, kind of brief. Just saying, E3's coming up, like what's going to be announced. Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, okay.
So
I mean, just get off of that because we're not really going anywhere. They always mention some new info about Tokyo Game Show just before E3, just to let you know that we have ours coming, and they did finalize the main visual for Tokyo Game Show. And there's some chick on the front, but it's like the new theme is going to be Game Day Egao ga Tsunageteku, which is games that
smile, right?
Games that are spreading smiles through games is their official theme.
It's like a weird robot chick with like a directional pad on her head.
Well, no, she was from last year as well.
Yeah, she's from last year, but she has different colors now.
Yeah.
So when we go to Tokyo Game Show, if this is spreading smiles through games, we have to count the number of times that games bring a smile to your face,
or how many people we see smiling in the burning September heat of Tokyo.
They're smiling for other reasons.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
Oh, you'll find out, my friend. You'll find out.
Get a load of this.
Otanoshimi.
This is like they must be putting some good drugs in their marketing speak, guys, because it says pleasure generates smiles, connecting more people. The world becomes filled with a chain of smiles generated by games. Such a world has already started. Oh my god.
I love you, Japan.
But one good bit that I learned is that the official video streaming channel is going to be kicked off for the first time for Tokyo Game Show. Footage of the event will be streamed all around the world in real time. That's the first time.
That's not excellent, because you're like, if you say to your company, yeah, I'm gonna need to take a day off, and someone,
oh god,
and they see you walk past in Tokyo Game Show, they'll be like, what?
Smile.
I'm gonna have to wear like a balaclava or something and walk around with a balaclava on.
Put sunglasses on indoors.
Dye my hair black, just so I don't stand out.
Put on a hat.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get rid of this blonde hair. Stick out like a sore thumb. Anyways, so do you think there'll be a 3DS redesign?
No, there will be, but I don't know if it's gonna be at E3.
No, I don't think it'd be at E3.
No,
they've already got the hardware that they're announcing.
People are waiting with bated breath for something else. You don't want to whip out different hardware.
Yeah, and 3DS is selling hotcakes anyway, so yeah, I mean,
that's what I was thinking. I don't think they need to change it at the moment.
They're not in any rush. Yeah,
I know it's coming. It's inevitable. It's coming, but I don't think this year. Well,
I mean, I think we'll see an announcement later this year.
Yeah, but not at E3.
Not now.
I don't think so. Okay, fair enough. So we move on to what else was in that magazine of Famitsu.
Okay, yeah. Now we'll just kind of bring us back down to the ground here. Okay, let's talk about a new game. So Dokuro is this. It's they're labeling it as a gimmick action game, and basically.
What does that mean?
This looks pretty, yeah.
What platform is it on?
This is on the Vita.
Okay.
And actually...
Download only.
It's going to be available in demo form on the 6th.
Of this month?
This month.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
But you can't just... apparently, you won't be able to merely log in your PSN on your video to get the demo. The demo, you have to get a download ticket. And these tickets... can only be received at a game shop.
Oh, hontoni. Ah.
So you're gonna have. But what's really nice is if you get the downloadable ticket, it will give you access to like a pretty big swath of the game.
Huh.
Whereas if you don't get access and just do like this, they're gonna offer the game in download form. I guess on the 14th. And then on the June 21st and then June 28th through 3 stages. Whereas if you do it through going to the store, you can get it right away.
Really? That's weird.
So I don't know why they're making you kind of jump through these
That's the gimmick?
Here.
Yeah, because that's the gimmick part. Is there going to be a physical copy?
Looks like it.
There's going to be a physical copy for 2,400 yen, and then the download is 1,800 yen. This is coming out on July 5th. And when you get this big part of the demo, if you play it all the way through, you'll be able to start at the end of the demo when you get the real copy.
Interesting.
So let's talk about the game, because we're already talking about everything else besides the game. So the game starts with this little Dark Lord evil dude, and he ensnares this peach-looking princess, sequesters her into this lonely little tower, and she's to stay there until their wedding day, till they walk down the Virgin Roadway together. And Dokuro is this lead character. I guess he's some skeleton that can morph Shang Tsung style into this prince. And he's essentially her guard. He's one who's making sure that she stays trapped in this tower until their wedding day. But eventually, her unhappiness kind of wears him down, and he starts to feel sorry for her. So he decides to give up his duty as watchman and save her.
Right. This is the black and white game, right?
Yeah, from Game Arts.
This is from Game Arts. And good. Was it Gung
Gung Ho Entertainment.
Ho Entertainment. It's a Korean company, right?
Ragnarok people, Odyssey
right?
Guys.
Right. I remember
this is their second This is their second game for the Vita, I think.
Yes.
I remember. It was the black and white one. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it looks really good. It kind of reminded me of was it the Sumi game?
Oh, Sumioni.
Sumioni.
Yeah.
Because this one looks like a full game.
Instead of Sumi, it's chalk. And this main character, he can switch between, like I said, this prince or the Skeletor dude. And when he's in this prince form, he can kind of fireman carry the princess when he's walking around. And then when he switches to the Skeletor dude, he does these double jumps, and you have to decide when to use which character. And it's very like kind of fairy tale art aesthetic.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks very interesting.
And he can wear it similar to the Sumi game. What is it again?
Sumioni.
Jesus, Sumioni. Finished it so quick. So he can draw with this chalk to form like these little bridges. And there's
cool.
it looks kind of cool. And then you can also draw like fire chalk, which sounds pretty cool.
I mean, my biggest problem with Sumioni is that it didn't really have level design. I mean,
you had to develop. You kind of were building the level design.
Exactly.
Building the level as you go.
Whereas this looks like it's like a real like platformer with like a really cool like gimmick idea. So,
right. Yeah, they say like the reason where gimmick comes in is because you can't just like track and field kill an end boss. You have to employ some stage gimmick to defeat him. So I guess that's where that comes in. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Like they have this picture where you have to like surmount or get across this big chasm. And then there's like this little cannon there, and you actually chuck the princess in the cannon, and then you draw fire like as if it's wick coming out of the back of the cannon, and then you kind of launch her off cannonball style across the chasm.
Excellent.
So it looks kind of like a little bit of lemming in there, except it's just one lemming, just the princess.
Yeah.
So we can go to the store and request a ticket.
Right.
On the 4th, did you say?
And I think it's tomorrow.
The Monday.
No, it's the 6th. Sorry.
Oh, the 6th. Okay. So the 6th is a
and
Wednesday.
Yeah, it says 30 area demo.
Huh.
So obviously, is this going to be like what was that game? A 30-second hero?
Oh, yeah.
The
Half Minute Hero.
Half Minute Hero. Yeah. Is it going to be like that? The levels are going to be that short?
I don't know. They don't really mention anything about length.
Yeah, because I mean, 30 levels. That sounds like it's going to be over and done with pretty quickly, though. If it's 30.
They do say that, you're constantly running into big bosses, and then kind of later down at the bottom it says there's a boss at the end of every level. So if you're running into them all the time, that means the levels must be pretty short.
Yeah, sounds like it. Huh, okay, cool.
For
that price, it's still very reasonable.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm comparing it to Sumioni because they're similar in terms of like, it seems in terms of content and idea. But I find it interesting that Sumioni, when it launched as a packaged game, was, what was it? It was like 4,000 some odd yen. It was pretty pricey.
It was 5,980 yen.
Oh my god. Okay, that was 5,980 yen, and the box version of this is 2,400 yen. I feel like maybe publishers are starting to realize that they can't be releasing games like that for that much.
Yeah, I mean handheld games as well.
Yeah, I mean that's not how you do it.
Well,
so I'm looking forward to this.
They got to learn somehow, right? And I guess this is how they're learning, step by step. So
yeah,
I mean this and the whole magazine. This kind of had the most charm. Definitely looks like it's got potential.
Definitely, yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. What else was here? Was something called Kuruma?
Oh yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. DS. They call it Kuruma de DS. Which what they have a lot of their something de DS.
Kuruma
do
is
something
car.
by means of car.
Car in
which
Japanese,
is right. So when I was working at Toyota, I didn't hear anything about this. I mean, the only thing I heard of when I was there was when they were doing a tie-up with Polyphony Studios, for
Gran Turismo.
Hello?
Gran
Turismo. Yeah. But yeah, so they have Toyota's partnered up with sort of with DS, and they've created this smart car navigational system that enables the drivers to turn the DS into like a car navigation remote control for kids, essentially. So you can imagine, like, I'm reading the article and like the genesis of why this was created. He says you can imagine kids sitting in the back of the car. They're completely disengaged with their parents, their conversation. They're banging their head in the back seat, just complete boredom. They're going on a long road trip. And they said what this does essentially is gives the kids a chance to feel like they're sort of driving the car. And it actually shows the speed of how far, like, if your dad is driving the car, how fast he's driving the car. So you can imagine, like, the kid in the backseat going, Dad, you're going too fast, or something.
My daughter already says that, and I'm only doing 40, and she's going, Daddy, hi, Daddy, hi, and I'm like,
maybe you don't want to. You probably want to keep her away from this one.
Yeah.
But Nintendo says they wanted to. Their whole reason for getting involved in this is they said Nintendo viewed this as a chance to create a sort of a bridge in conversation between the kids and the parents while they're going from A to B. And so it works like a normal navigation GPS. And the kids, like on the top screen, they have like this old dude sitting there. And actually, sometimes it will show like the car driving the traffic of the car, the moving. And you can actually run searches on all the places you're driving. So if you wanted to say you want to go to like the Tokyo Sky Tree Tower that just was just built.
Just opened, right?
Yeah, just opened.
To the public.
They just finished erecting it.
It's like 640 meters tall, right?
Right. And then, so what they did was they created this whole like software where it actually teaches the kid how to, like, all the famous like spots along the way, all the landmarks, and they can read up on everything and kind of get the kid pumped and excited about where he's going.
Nice.
And they got like all these questions. I've got 10,000 question database to like engage the kids, to keep them and it sort of makes them like more connected with where they're going, rather than, Dad, where are we going? Are we there yet? They're just playing their own video games, not really paying attention, and then sort of kicking and screaming the whole way. It gets them interested. It seems like a really good idea, but the only thing is you need about $2,500 to buy this navigational system. And then you got to pay $700 or $70 for the actual soft. So if you're one of those people who have this when you buy the car, it's just a $70 purchase.
Do you think they'll update the questions as time goes on?
Well, 10,000 is a lot to start with.
Yeah,
that's true.
Still.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really mention anything about it. But what surprised me was I watched
the same place over and over again. Are they going to keep just repeating the questions over and over?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all I did was see it was like multiple choice style. They were pretty clever questions. But what interested me is the where is it here? So I watched the whole video on it, and there's just this guy kind of taking it through its paces, and the announcer, it's very like robotic style. That was kind of disappointing, but they would actually just carry on and giving you explanation of where you are, where you're going, how tall the building is, when it was built. Here's the restaurants around this area. And you can actually just run like an immediate search of things in the area. And so the kid could be back there fully engaged. Oh, it could be really interesting.
That's nice. I might think about getting that for my daughter. But you need a Toyota though, right?
Yeah, it might be the catch. It's called Smart Navi.
If you need a Toyota, I've got a Nissan, so it's not going to be incompatible.
It's a bit unfortunate that it's limited to. Yeah, it's so limited, and it's made by Fujitsu, so I don't know if they'll license it.
It'd be nice if they could. That'd be nice because I mean, Yeah, because my daughter plays with the iPad while we're driving, and I'd like her to like understand where we're going and what we're going to see and where so she could follow.
Yeah, and you have like our whole running conversation.
Yeah, so that'd be nice instead of her like just sitting there. Like she watches like anime that we go to the video store and rent some anime, and I copy it over to the iPad so she can watch it while we're driving. So
basically, what you're doing is
a bit of interaction,
trying to keep them completely engaged in something not related to what you're doing.
Cool. Right. Okay. Right. Let's move on. Next. Elliot.
Yes.
What's this one we've got here?
Oh boy. So there's this little Falcom game coming out this summer.
Yeah.
On July 26th called Nayuta no Kiseki. And this might ring somewhat familiar to some of our listeners because I believe Kyle has talked extensively about the first and second game in this series.
Yes. He sure does. He played. It was his train game, I believe.
This is train game, yeah.
Yes.
It turned him into a Falcom believer.
Yeah, turned him into a Falcom fanboy.
Yeah. You English-speaking folks might know the series as Trails in the Sky.
Yep.
Well, at least the first 3 games are called Trails in the Sky, Sora no Kiseki. This 6th game, actually, coming out, is not, from what we know, is not actually connected to the previous games. It is a standalone entry in the series.
Okay.
And it is also an action RPG. Not a turn-based RPG like the other 5 games.
Right.
So this is kind of a departure. But what they're aiming for is a story action RPG, is how they describe it.
Right.
And it's a big game like the other ones. And it takes place in a different world in which there are 4... It's kind of this weird flat world that has different areas that encompass different seasons. And so you sort of fall, summer, winter, spring. And the main character is named Nayuta. And you're able to equip him with pretty much any weapon you can think of. Swords, axes, hammers, everything. And these changes are actually visible on the character model, which is very cool.
Yes.
It's
nice to have a visual representation of what you're actually changing things to.
And this is very different from the normal Kiseki series because the character models are not pre-rendered like they have been for the past 5 games. These are full 3D models, kind of closer to what you saw in E7 for the PSP a few years back. There's some trailers online, and visually it looks very robust. But this latest issue of Famitsu introduces some new characters, Sasha and Ada. Ada being this red-haired character who handles the weapon shop. And you can actually take quests from her to go get items to synthesize for your weapons. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of customization on that end. Sasha is this blonde-haired female character who also runs a shop. And you can also get quests from her. But apparently, you have a sort of partner character named Noi, who is this little kind of fairy. She's very small. And I guess you could buy clothes for her from Sasha, which have effects on like her different statuses, her different stats, I mean. So it's looking like, as typical in the Kiseki series, there's going to be a lot of hours wasted on customizing your characters, how you see fit.
How do you feel about that? I really am curious.
I like it.
Do you play that? Like, I understand Kyle played like those types of games on his commute.
Yeah, on his commute. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not going from A to B, do you sit down and play those games for a while? What is the hook that keeps?
Well, with the Kiseki series, the first 3 games are called Trails in the Sky, but 4 and 5 have slightly different names, so I won't refer to them as such. But I started playing Trails in the Sky the month it came out in America last year. I believe it was March. I was really looking for a good old school RPG to play through. And I started playing it. I sat down. I came home after work, maybe put a couple hours into it when it first came out. And I dug it. Had that kind of old school feel. And it was written really well. I mean, the script was really solid.
Okay, so it's the story, it's just the sheer the writing ability?
I mean, here's the thing, and this is something I don't think you find in any other modern franchise. The way I've kind of found to describe the series is each game is kind of like a season of some television show.
Uh-huh.
Okay, where there's an overarching narrative to the entire series. Like, there's one big goal, but each game is its own series that progresses that goal, but also solves its own individual issue. And so the scope and the world that it builds over all of these games is crazy, because you learn a lot about the world of each game, but because you're doing it at like a steady pace, it never feels overwhelming. Like, they never just sit you down and they're like, this is the world, this is what happens, here it is. You know, you learn this about maybe this country in the first game. In the second game, you find out that these two countries are at war, but you already have, you know, the first game's info. Third game, you learn this about the church. You know, you find out the church is involved. Fourth game, fifth game, so on and so on. And so by the fifth game, Ao no Kiseki, which came out late last year, a lot of these storylines were coming in head-on with each other and sort of kind of exploding at the center in some really interesting ways. And I don't think I've ever quite been as addicted to a series as I am with this one. I literally played a game every month leading up to Ao no Kiseki last year. Like, is it
a game that has potential mass appeal, or
I think
is there something that keeps it back from becoming a big seller?
It's a double-edged sword in that, because it's a series that builds off of each previous entry, the barrier is very high to getting in. It's intimidating. But the thing is, it's only reached the levels it's reached because it does that. So it's kind of like, if you give up one thing, you're losing another. And so I think that's what they're trying to do with Nayuta no Kiseki by making a separate entry with the same kind of big world and big development, is say, here, people who have always been afraid to try a Kiseki game, come check out this one. And if you like it, if you really get into it, go check out the other games, because they're still there. Which I think, in terms of this kind of series, that's a smart move, because they realize, like, at this point, there's no stopping the Kiseki train. Like, they have a very clear idea of where they're going. And when I finished the last game, I had to put down my PSP, and I was just thinking to myself, how long am I going to have to wait to see the next chapter of this ridiculously sprawling saga? You know? So, I mean, by putting out a game that's unrelated, you're bringing in new fans. And it looks really good. It looks like it's really pushing the PSP's visual capabilities and audio capabilities. So, I mean, this is my July game for sure.
So this is just PSP? They're not going to, like... Well, do you think this is going to work on the Vita?
I think it'll work on the Vita, but it's a PSP game because they've been developing it since like 2 years ago. Yeah,
I understand that, but do you think when it goes up on the store, you'll be able to download it and play it on your Vita? Because PSP games look beautiful on the Vita.
Yeah, I think so, because most of Falcom's catalog, PSP catalog, is on the Vita, except for Sora no Kiseki Part 2, so Trails in the Sky Part 2.
Right.
Because it's a dual-disc game, and it was created before you could actually download games off the PSN. And so there's some contractual issues, there are some actual programming issues, because it wasn't designed for that. So, like, Falcom would have to go back and reprogram the game, and Falcom's already a small company to begin with, so they don't really have the manpower to spare on that.
Right.
Which is part of the reason why it hasn't popped up yet.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But at least this new one looks like it'll work on your Vita.
Yeah, and it'll probably be gorgeous too.
Is that where you're going to play it, or are you going to stick to the PSP and play it the way it was meant to be played?
Well, because I'm a fanboy, the physical package of this game looks amazing. Like, you know, CD, drama CD, bunch of cool stuff that comes with it.
Right.
But if I buy that, I won't be able to play it on my Vita.
Right.
And so I'm struggling right now.
What happens if they do it on the download program?
The thing is, like, they don't really... I mean, they announced that stuff from that last time, like all the new games that went up, but they haven't announced any since. And so I'm wondering, like, how long would I have to wait before I'd be able to play it on the Vita? Because if I get this, I want to play it in its best form.
Right.
And that would be on the Vita.
Right.
You know? So, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, it sounds like... When is this out? Has it got a release date?
Yep, July 26th.
Oh, okay. So I know where you'll be then.
Oh, yeah. If you don't hear from me for like 3 weeks, I'll be playing Nayuta no Kiseki.
Yeah,
so.
you and Kyle, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, there was... in the Famitsu, there was something announced for 3DS, and it was covered over 2 pages. What was that?
Yeah, Atlas has formally announced Shin Megami Tensei 4. So Megaten 4. For the Nintendo 3DS, which is a pretty big bomb, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a mainline Megaten game.
Yes.
And the last entry in this series was, I believe, Nocturne for the PlayStation 2.
Yes, it was.
So this is, I mean, not totally surprising given, Dragon Quest IX went to 3DS a few years back, etc. But still, I mean, this is their main series. Contrary to popular belief, Persona wasn't Atlas's main driving game.
Right.
It was always the main Megaten franchise.
Right.
So this has been a long time coming, and I know a lot of people are excited.
So why do you think they went from PS2 to 3DS?
For a few reasons, actually. These games are really big. There are a lot of character models, a lot of demon designs. They're just very visually sprawling games, I guess you could say.
So you don't think this would fit on a UMD for the PSP?
It might on the PSP, but for like an HD console, it would be a huge issue, I think.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Because why isn't it on? Why haven't they announced it for the PSP? Because it was on the PS2. The last one was on the PS2. And
I mean, also like the PSP is on its way out.
Yes.
And as it stands, it looks like the 3DS is the replacement PSP now, so to speak.
Yep. Well, it has only got one analog stick.
Exactly. So, I mean, it makes sense in that end. And also, in terms of HD consoles, that'd just be a lot of HD content to create. And Atlas, they make good money these days, but they're still not... They're no Capcom when it comes to the money they have to throw around. Right. And I feel like that kind of... They're not going to sell so many copies of this game that it'll make it worth developing this huge, expensive game on the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
So I think 3DS was a smart decision.
Well, no, I wasn't actually thinking console. I was thinking like handheld space. So that's why I said PSP. I wasn't thinking like console based. I was thinking portable.
Totally.
So I was wondering why choose the 3DS. I know it's selling a lot, and it's sold like 8,000 units already in Japan itself. But I was thinking that we have the PSP, and it's sold like 17 million units in Japan, and it's still selling.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they probably want to start anew on brand new system.
Oh, okay, so in Famitsu, this next piece of information we have is not actually in Famitsu. It was it's Tales of Xilia 2, right?
Yes, Tales of Xilia 2 is the newest mainline game in the Tales series. It is also the sequel to last year's Tales game.
Right.
Which is the first time that a sequel to the main Tales line game... It's the first time a sequel to a main Tales game has also been a mothership title since Tales of Destiny, I believe. Tales of Destiny 1 and 2. But it takes place... I don't want to spoil too much Xilia stuff, but it takes place in the same world, sort of. A new cast. It still looks like it's early in development. As far as characters go, the main character is named Ludger, and he kind of looks like he might be a detective or a cop or some kind of reporter.
Right.
He's a little bit older than your average Tales protagonist, which is cool.
Uh-huh.
And the other main character is a little girl named Elle. So I'm suspecting that there's going to be some kind of either big brother, little sister kind of relationship between the two.
Right.
Or maybe like a sort of, not father-daughter, but like closer to that kind of, connection.
Okay.
The colors are a little bit muted so far, but again, it's early, so who knows?
Yeah. The first thing I noticed, though, is the action.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone all
combat.
Devil May Cry. I mean,
definitely getting some Devil May Cry vibes in there.
Yeah, he's got like a hammer, and he's going in from a hammer swing into some swords, into some guns. It looks awesome. But this is something that the Tales games, they seem to evolve their combat system every game, every iteration of their game.
Yeah,
the combat
definitely.
system definitely changes, and it's great to see. And to see this is really, really fascinating to see this type of combat system being implemented into an essentially a Japanese RPG.
Definitely. I mean, I love the idea of being able to switch weapons mid-combo. I feel like that's going to lend itself to some really varied combat.
Yeah.
The videos, the short videos that they have on GAF looked really good.
Yeah, and
just
also,
playing an endless loop.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of mesmerizing, actually. But another cool element is that you're going to be able to make decisions during the game that sort of change the way events occur. So by pressing the L1 button or the R1 button during certain circumstances, you can sort of select whether you want to... The example they give is like facing off against this enemy that's shooting at you and like the little girl, or surrendering. And based on the decision you make, events occur differently. And it gives you a little bit of time to make that decision. It kind of reminded me of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where you could choose if you wanted to like face him or run away.
Run away.
Nice.
But that's really cool because it's not a quick time event, but it still gives you sort of that in the moment. Here, decide what you're going to do. Go.
Right.
So I'm excited about that.
I mean, the pictures that we've seen. I know it's obviously it must be very early in development, but the cityscape seems rather sparse and empty. I'm hoping this is just early development and they haven't populated the worlds yet. But I'm hoping there's for something there instead of an empty, dead city.
Yeah, I mean, I get the feeling that because if you look at any of the Tales games in their early forms when they first show them, they always look really empty.
Right.
And the city images here, especially, just look really dead. Like there's nothing, literally. Yeah. And I think part of the reason why it's Xilia 2 and not just a brand new world is because then they can reuse their HD assets from the original Xilia.
Yeah.
And I know this has been a problem with Japanese game development in general, is moving into the HD consoles and developing for them. So now that they have that base there, they can just build on top of it. You know, like it or hate it, Final Fantasy 13-2, in terms of locations and dungeons and cities and NPCs and stuff like that, was a big improvement over the original game because they already had, you know, the base level systems in place that they could build on top of. And I think Namco Bandai's probably aiming to do the same thing with this. So I'm definitely excited. They're aiming for this year, but they're not really sure yet. I guess they're going to be announcing it officially later this month, on June 27th. Yes.
Right. Okay. So I mean,
oh wow.
But I mean, reusing assets from previous games only makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's no point. I mean, A, it makes your development time faster. B, it's more cost effective.
Spend more time on the things that matter.
Yeah, exactly. So reusing assets, I haven't got a problem with it. I think I think it's great. But I mean, the thing I worry about is they churn these games out pretty quickly.
Definitely. I mean, Tales games come typically every year.
Every year, and for the actual the scope and the size of this type of game, it's pretty amazing that they can. Churn these out.
Specifically, the way the Tales, back when it was the Tales studio, the way they worked was they had different teams that were known for different styles of games working on a different mothership title all at the same time. So, like, you had the Tales of Symphonia team working on one Tales game that was due out for that year, and then you had another team working on the following mothership title for the next year. So it's never the same team doing each and every game.
Oh, so they're overlapping.
Yeah, they're overlapping, which I thought was I think it's a really smart way of development.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart way of doing it.
I mean, it's not quite as consistent as a result. You know, this year's game could be completely different from last year's, but, you know, that way there is a game every year, and it's not the same thing every single year.
Yes, but I think that's a great idea of overlapping the teams and reusing each team's like artwork and
which development team you like the best? Does one stand out?
I don't. You know, I'm a Tales fan, but I'm not like a mega Tales fan, so I can't tell you specific teams. But I'm a really big fan of the teams that worked on the 2D Tales games. for the PlayStation 2 that never saw Western releases.
Right.
So like Tales of Destiny 2. The combat system is just very fast. It's, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of a 2D fighting game. And they're probably my favorite team. I'm not 100% sure which 3D titles they worked on, so hopefully one of our listeners can chime in on that.
So, I mean, you go into the store and Tales of Xilia, I see like 15, 16 copies of that game on the shelf, and it's about 1,500 yen now?
Yep.
1,800 yen, about?
Yep.
So, but I mean, originally, Tales of Xilia sold like over 700,000 units.
Yeah, it's still selling, apparently. It's the highest selling Tales game since Tales of Destiny 2 for the PlayStation 2.
Right.
By a long shot.
So it's still, it's amazing that it's still apparently it's still selling, but it's amazing that people would buy a new copy of the game because it's 7,000 yen when you can pick up a pre-owned version for 1,500, 1,800 yen.
And that's the crazy thing, too, is that in the same store, you'll see the used copy for 1,800 yen, and you'll see a new copy for 7,000 yen.
Yeah.
Like, the new price is still 7,000.
Yeah.
So why would you... Yeah. I mean, Tales of Vesperia for the PlayStation 3. I was at the store the other day, and I was checking it out, and it was still 6,000 yen for a used copy.
Still the same price. But I guess the stores, because it's sold so many, over 700,000 units, the stores have got so many units, they've just had to drop the price.
Probably,
just to get rid of them, because every store I go to, there's literally between 10, 15 copies in each store I go to.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's done very well for Namco Bandai. I think they were saying between that and, like, Gundam versus Gundam, they made some pretty big profits last year, apparently.
Well, yeah, well, it's a Gundam versus Gundam coming out for Vita next week, right?
It's Gundam Seed Battle Destiny, which unfortunately does not have online multiplayer.
Yeah, it has no online multiplayer, which is daft.
Because I kind of want it, but no online multiplayer.
Is that the one with Minmay?
No, this is Gundam Seed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they're having some kind of a proper announcement on June 27th. That's correct, yes.
Yes, price and date.
Price and date. So winter, sometime this winter, so this could be the end of the year or the beginning of next.
Yep.
Right. Okay, because, so would you pick this up?
Definitely. I mean, I like Tales games, so... I still haven't beaten Tales of Xilia. I'm like 15 hours in. I started replaying it again to like start from the beginning. And
did you start replaying it again because you saw this announcement, or were you playing it before this announcement?
You know, I go through phases when it comes to games I want to play, and I just suddenly got in the mood to play a Tales game.
Right.
And I realized I still hadn't beaten Xilia yet, so I just had to hit back. And then, they were starting to release announcements that they were going to announce a game. So
you've got this. Tales of Xilia and Nino Kuni to get on with.
Yeah, oh God.
Where's the time?
I'm going to have to beat all that stuff before Nayuta comes out or else I'm screwed.
Yeah, you will be. You will be.
Because everything's going to get dropped for Nayuta, so...
Yes, I can imagine. You're just going to drop everything, huh?
That's what I did last year with Ao no Kiseki.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, any more E3 stuff you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about Konami's Platinum Metal Gear Rising?
So good.
That looks amazing.
It does,
so good.
That really brought me back.
What's the subtitle? Revengeance?
Yes.
Yep. 2013.
2013.
It's coming out.
So
this is really the first demo that it feels like it's a culmination of what they were shooting for before it was passed to Platinum Games, and then it's definitely got Platinum Games' signature
all over it.
Touch to it.
All over it. Not a touch, it's all over
specifically, like just what I really was happy to see was the precision cutting mechanic looks like it's back.
So cool.
Well, it's not back. It's kind of back. I mean,
no, it's back for big bosses, which is kind of what I was thinking you would need it for. You don't need a precision cut, just a normal dude. You just cut him in half because for the fool he is. But
right.
For a helicopter or something like that.
Right. Well,
you can dice it.
Yeah, but the thing I was worried about originally is like you could do that to everything.
Right.
So
that's what I mean. It's so they've taken the good idea, but they turned down the volume on it.
Right.
Which is smart.
which is I'm totally happy with.
Right.
You know, we talked about this before. They actually hit an impasse, and then obviously it wasn't viable as the main game mechanic.
No, didn't
but
work.
It looked like they got rid of it, which was what I was hoping would not happen. And I was kind of just, you will rule the day kind of type of attitude about the whole thing. But it looks like it's back, and then what they're showing from Platinum Games looks like it's the best of what Platinum is capable of.
Yeah, it reminded me of Bayonetta so much. You know,
when he runs up that cliff and jumps on the helicopter.
He jumps on the missiles, then he
jumps on the missiles, right?
Yeah, and then slices the helicopter into bits.
Another thing I also like that I don't think I've seen too many people talk about, except for on maybe Gaff, is that it looks as though they're maintaining, even though this is not a Metal Gear Solid game, they're still maintaining some elements of stealth. Like you're able to sort of stalk your opponents and kill them, stealth kill them. Like there's sort of some quick shots of him like sneaking behind people and like cutting them in half before they notice.
You mean the guy behind the pillar?
There's the guy behind the pillar. He cuts the pillar in half, killing the guy behind it as well.
Yeah, that's yeah. So it's nice that they've kept some of that, because obviously, in essence, that's what Metal Gear was all about. Because that's what Kojima said about Metal Gear. He didn't want to shoot everything. He wanted to be sneaky, right? He wanted to be able to sneak upon people.
I mean, you know, they didn't have to include that here because they were going for an action game from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool that they're putting the option in there.
Yeah, it really fills it out. It just seems like a very deeper, just more richer gameplay.
Yeah, so, I'm really excited on that.
So I take it that you're both pleased that Platinum Games have been...
That last, like, that video that they had, that live action video, I was just like, WTF. I'm never going to...
I was worried.
You know, Steel Battalion did that. You know, they went to Poland and they hired like real army guys and did like a live action video. I just think whenever they do that, it reminds you of some game from like the early 1990s.
Yeah, FMV video games.
SMV video games.
Yeah, Crazy Ivan. I don't know. Psygnosis did it with Crazy Ivan. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't. I can imagine Psygnosis doing that, though.
Hold on, Mickey, I'm coming. And that was one of the lines in it, Crazy Ivan. Yep, anyways, it's all good. Go onto YouTube and look on Crazy Ivan.
I just remember the Blood Money
He's in
song. I can never forget.
Yeah, what is it? I think Disney Paris. Yeah, Paris. Disneyland in Paris is getting smashed up, and Crazy Ivan says like something like "Hold on, Mickey, I'm coming," and that's it.
Make your time.
It's quite funny. Anyways, yeah, Metal Gear. So, yeah. So this is this going to be playable at E3?
Yeah,
it is.
First playable demo.
Excellent.
Very smart.
It needs to be. Yeah, I mean, Konami look like they're on for a winner already. But saying that though, did Bayonetta sell?
Yeah, it sold well for it's their Platinum's highest selling game, I believe.
But if Bayonetta sold well, wouldn't Sega be doing number 2?
Yeah, but Sega's in dire straits. Period. I mean,
yeah, but if the first one made them money, surely the second one would make them money as well. No?
They might not have the money to even pour into resources, though.
Damn.
I mean, think about it. Studios are like closing. They just released news today that like Sega Europe might be just like disappearing off the map. Like they're in really dire straits right now. So
I used to work at Sega Europe, or Sega, in London.
Ouch.
Yeah, sorry people.
Oh man, seeing your own peeps.
They're saying they might be dropping AAA titles completely and moving into mobile, like
Mobage,
tablet, iPhone game sort of market. So we'll see what happens.
That'll be the day when you see Sega. It'll be a sad day when you see Sega at E3 and all they've got to show is mobile games.
Don't say that.
It's going to happen.
I'll always have my binary domain.
Just play like 10 minutes of it every 5 months and you can just milk it.
Keep it fresh.
Well, the Japanese companies who are doing Mobage games like Gree and stuff, the amount of money they're making is ridiculous.
Yep.
And you can only see like a company like Sega saying, "Oh, well, instead of using all of this money on one game, we can make so much money and use very little money."
Exactly.
To make these free to play DLC games that they're all on your mobile phone or your iPad.
And especially people out west, you kind of hear Mobage and Green, you kind of shake your head and you're like, that's not, those aren't real games. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because they're making so much money.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous amounts of money.
It's going to be a sad day when you see, well, actually, it's already started because last TGS, remember, Stephen, the Gree booth was almost as big as the Sony booth?
Yeah, and then it was in the place that where Level 5 occupied.
Yeah, the year before. That
was like a dagger right in the heart.
Yeah, but you can already see that in Japan the mobile space is how it's developing and how big it's getting. So I can only imagine in like a few years down the line that a majority of these Japanese companies, they're going to be going to E3 with Mobage games, and that's going to be, I think, for a hardcore gamer, for gamers like us, the gamers who've grown up with playing hardcore games, it's going to be a sad day for us because these games we can't recognize,
That's going to be hard to swallow.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to swallow. These games, you just push buttons, I go to the gym every day and I see people on the push bike, and they've all got their iPhones or their Android phones, and they've all got them propped up on their on the cycle, and they're cycling away, but they've got these Mobage games all going, everybody, and all they're doing is pushing a button and watching something spin around on the screen, and they push a button again. And I can even see people paying DLC for DLC in the gym, buying extra content for it while they're in the gym. And you can see that they're paying for it.
It's just spur of the moment gambling.
Yeah, but it's got a lot of people into trouble in Japan. I've seen it on the news many a time.
Well, yeah. I mean, that whole thing is getting heavily regulated right now.
So I mean, because it gets put directly onto your bill, right? It goes onto your mobile.
But I mean,
bill.
at the same time, I'm like, come on, people, wake up! You knew what you're getting into.
Common sense.
Yeah, I know it's common sense.
The whole thing is, I mean, the main issue for me is that you have kids who are on their papa's, phone account. He's paying for it, and then suddenly they're getting slapped with really big bills like that. That you have to somehow regulate. But adults, meh, screw them. They should know better.
It's true. They really should.
Yeah, but as I said, it is happening, and it's happening.
I just remember playing Mafia Wars for the first time on just to see what it's about as an experiment. And you can see the moment where it just says, yes, I definitely should spend money right now because I'm fed up and I don't want to do this. And yeah, I can see it physically happening. And then of course I got out and deleted my whole account and everything. And it felt like the best thing ever. Same with when I played Travian as an experiment and got really way deep in that. There's the whole money thing underneath that eventually you're so vested into it. You just say, yes, I want to spend the money, get it. And just move on. I don't know. It's
coming.
It's like Botox for gamers. It's just there it is. Get the little injection. Gonna help make my character a little more powerful, and then move on.
Yeah. As I said, it's coming, and I'm kind of. It's a sad day for E3, and for gaming.
It's not game. It's a gambling though. It really is. It's gambling under the guise of gaming.
It's going to evolve into gaming.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I don't think it can.
It will.
That's like an evolution that just can't go anywhere.
No, it will. Trust me.
But it's still going.
It's still going. They're making more money than anybody else.
It's like everybody laughs when you hear about a developer go to a social games company or something. But the fact of the matter is, those developers that do are making bank.
Yeah, they're making.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it because it's the average uninformed mom of two kids waiting in the line at the bank.
It's not just them.
Wants to get her fix.
It's not just them anymore.
It's spreading. It's like a zombie virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh well. Fair enough.
I don't mind though. I still stand by that. I don't have enough time to play the games I want to play, so I don't care. Let them do what they want.
Oh, that's it, Stephen. Hide your head and run away. Are you an ostrich?
Yeah.
Are you an ostrich? Sounds like it.
Pretty much.
We got to stand up and fight.
Well, I mean, I think the only way you'd be able to do it is games like Street Fighter could go down the route of free to play and then basically pay for like costumes
and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, here in Japan, customizing your characters is huge.
Yes.
I mean, like Tekken, for instance, the Tekken series, Tekken Tag Tournament, the way it's set up, I don't believe you actually have to pay for items. Based on how many matches you win and stuff like that, you have in-game arcade currency that allows you to go online at home into your own account and make purchases of these items using this digital currency. And stuff like that, monetizing stuff like that, I have no problem with. Because it's extra stuff, just to make your character look cool. The game is unchanged. The balance is unchanged. And I think if Capcom went free, like, this sounds crazy, but like a free-to-play Super Street Fighter 4, like, I think that would make them a lot of money. But I don't know if they'll ever do that because it's Capcom, but I have a lot of ire towards current-day Capcom, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, they have screwed people over in the past, so...
Yeah.
But speaking of Capcom, they said that they're going to be announcing or showing off Lost Planet 3, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 6...
You mean DMC?
Sorry, DMC. Devil May Cry, DMC, Resident Evil 6, and Street Fighter X Tekken Vita.
Yeah, yay!
Any of those titles interesting to you?
Resident Evil 6 is interesting to me.
Okay, are you buying a jacket?
No.
The $1,000 jacket?
No.
We got a friend.
You can buy a cheaper jacket for Steel Battalion.
I think I'll pass on both.
we got a friend who's buying it, right? You know him?
Yeah, a certain Resident Evil fan is definitely going to be buying it from what I hear.
Yep, sounds like he's...
Sounds like he's already made the purchase.
It does, doesn't it?
I think he's pre-ordered it, but...
I think all of his friends are just like egging him on deeper into the quicksand.
I may or may not have contributed to that on Twitter.
We are talking about CVX Freak, so if you'd like to follow him, and when the game comes out, follow him, and he'll show off his new $1,000 Resident Evil 6 jacket.
The ultimate Resident Evil fan. He knows, like,
seeing how deep that affliction is makes me not want to play any of the games.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're not interested to see what's grabbed him and
I think just like maybe anybody like at that level of, I don't know. I'm the greatest fan.
Well, I think it's one of those things where a game comes into your life at a certain time, and it just kind of, or something comes into your life at a certain time. Like I definitely have films that are like that, and
I had the same thing with
things like that. I definitely get where that kind of fandom comes from.
Yeah,
totally.
I was similar to when I worked for Sony, and okay, this is slightly different, but when I worked for Sony and I worked with the Wipeout team, I was just so fascinated with Wipeout and the whole design philosophy of it, and the Designers Republic and stuff like that. I went out and bought all kinds of stuff that didn't even relate to Wipeout, but something that Designers Republic had been involved with. Like album covers for music I didn't even like.
Wow.
But
well, I mean, there's also the collector's mentality too.
Yeah,
the other thing
because
you have to consider.
It was done by Designers Republic. I'd go out and buy it because what they were designing was so influential to me that I didn't care what it was for. I just wanted to have it because it was from that group,
I definitely get that, yeah.
So, I don't know. What cracks me up, though, is when every once in a while you'll see on Amazon or whatever said game site that, whatever it may be, they'll see like a guy who's like, I'm selling my whole collection. I just love seeing those. Like the guy said, you can tell he's had it. He's got a picture of like just 1,000 figurines of whatever. And he's just cutting all connection with it.
Maybe his wife's just had enough and said, listen, it's either the figures or me.
That's certainly that, too.
Yep.
But, Capcom's list of games for E3 does not have me excited. Lost Planet 3, not excited. I'm excited for the 3DS.
What's their conceit this time with Lost Planet 3?
Is it some Korean actor?
No, it's outsourced to a Legendary, I think, or what's it called? What's the studio? It's a really terrible studio that's made nothing but bad games, and so they outsource it to them. Does that make sense?
Well done, Capcom.
Yep. DMC, I'm mostly concerned with because I don't think Ninja Theory has ever made a game that I liked.
You didn't like? I liked Heavenly Sword.
I think Heavenly Sword was cinematically very cool, but the gameplay didn't do much for me.
Right. Okay.
And with Devil May Cry,
for the launch title, right? For the launch title, didn't you think it was impressive for the launch title? No.
I mean, there were impressive elements, but nothing there told me that they know how to do like really amazing deep action.
Okay.
I guess. And Devil May Cry is like really deep, almost fighting game level of action to me. So I'm worried. I mean, it could turn out to be amazing, but I'm skeptical currently.
Okay.
So, and the design really doesn't bother me all that much. I don't like it, but it's not like a deal breaker.
Okay.
Resident Evil 6, I'm excited for.
Sounds it.
I liked Revelations for the 3DS. The Leon part looks really cool. I'm not so sure about Chris's side, though.
Right. I like the idea of like possible co-op.
Yeah.
You know, like 3 different scenarios with like the 3 different characters co-opt. That sounds interesting.
The whole dragging multiplayer into every single game is kind of getting old for me.
But you don't like to be social? You just want to sit there with your PSP, don't you, and play Trials in the Sky?
I hate people.
It sounds like it.
The real you is out.
Get off Twitter.
And, I mean, this is the thing. I really love Resident Evil 4. And I think that is the direction I personally wanted them to take Resident Evil. And instead, they're kind of they're sort of doing that, except more actiony and multiplayer. Whereas I felt like Resident Evil 4 was scary because it was so tense all the time. Like, you really never knew what was going to happen, even though it was sort of actiony. It was kind of like right on the fence. And I thought it was perfect for that. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to buy it and play it. I'm a Resident Evil fan. I love Resident Evil, but...
You know, I kind of liked 5.
I liked 5, too. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I did, too. But, I mean, it seems to get, like, hammered by everybody.
I mean, I played the game single player the first time through, and I enjoyed it. Had a good time, but it definitely felt like something was missing for me. Like,
right,
I wasn't stressed enough.
Right, I think the only thing that made me upset was, upset me was I think it was the end when you were fighting what's his face, Wesker, and you had to punch a rock.
Yeah, that was
the only thing that pissed me off. And I was like, really? He's gonna punch a rock?
Yo, Chris beat the crap out of that rock.
Yeah, and it was huge. And it was like
a boulder.
It was a huge, like 8-foot boulder, and he punched. I'm like, what's going on? Why am I punching a boulder?
Resident Evil.
Yeah, why?
Why not, Martin? Why not?
Why not? Why not? But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to 6.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more on that. I just wish their lineup had more of the smaller titles that I used to love Capcom for. You know,
well, such as like Mega Man.
I mean, yeah, you know, I'm a Mega Man fan, but like stuff like Phoenix Wright. Just like, you know, Ghost Trick was a recent one that I really loved. They used to do a lot of those kind of smaller, out there, more experimental games that I feel like they just don't do anymore.
Okay, because like, did you play Okami?
I did play Okami. I loved Okami, and then they fired all the people who made Okami.
Well, Beautiful Joe.
Yep, I loved Beautiful Joe too, and then they fired all the people who made Beautiful Joe. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yes. And people walking away as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, fair enough. So this E3, is there anything that you'll look forward to as a gamer in Japan? Yeah.
You mean as in like seeing something new, or as in like just seeing people play something?
Seeing something new and being in the perspective
I
of
want,
being in Japan.
I want to see Way to run out at the end of the conference and demonstrate the latest build of Last Guardian.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that would freak me. I could that would be it for me. I'd be happy and I could walk
E3
away.
Content with E3 right there.
And for Japan.
I'd be surprised if he was even like on the project anymore. Like,
don't say that.
Seriously.
Don't say that, man.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Stop it. I don't want to hear that.
I mean, I think Sony, like, what is it? Sony, not San Diego.
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica. I think or Sony as a whole have just probably had enough of this dude saying, "Oh, I'll release it when it's ready." But it's like 5 years. I mean, in 5 years, Naughty Dog have released Uncharted, right? and they're about to release The Last of Us.
Yep.
4 games in that space, and he hasn't released one. I mean,
he's going to come out. He's coming out on the stage.
Listen to the amount of money that Sony must have put in, and they haven't received anything back.
So the project has been, if it's been shifted over to the West to some extent, you're going to have it shown at E3, not Tokyo Game Show, I would say.
They have to. They have to show it.
So if it's not shown here, something is seriously wrong.
Something is really up, and you should be concerned that this game will ever see the light of day.
I'm pretty sure you'll see the light of day because Sony can't put that much money into something and not release it.
And that's what I mean. And I think Famitsu and this has to show up at E3 this year.
Yeah,
it just has to pop up in some form.
It's got to be, right?
It's got to be a build, and someone's got to be playing it.
Do you think it'll come out this year?
I think it should.
Wait, come out? Or you mean they're going to show it?
They'll show it. They'll show it and date it.
I just want to see it there.
Are they going to show it and date
not
it?
as a trailer?
Are they going to show it and date it? Answer the question.
No.
No?
You said what we're anguishing, what we want to see at E3. Come on.
I want to see them date it.
Dude, we gotta just be realistic. It's been off the radar forever. We want to see it.
It's been 5 years. That's being realistic. I'm not asking for them to pull something out the hat and go, "Hey, look what we've got." It's been 5 years.
No, I want to see a more recent build of it.
Yeah,
I would be happy. I don't care about a date.
You don't care about a date?
No.
No,
I mean, come on. What would you be satisfied with?
I'd be satisfied with a date.
And
a build.
Yeah, build.
Yeah, build and a date. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, don't go then.
Oh, you're just tacking on.
Come on.
Just tacking.
No. They've had 5 years.
I think it should be dated. I think it needs to be dated. I don't know if they're actually going to, though.
I think it'll only help them.
If they could give you, what do you want? 2000? Would you be satisfied? Would you be pissed if they said 2013?
Yeah, because that's non-specific.
That could be end of the year
anything.
2013.
Yeah,
I think they need to give a season.
So they said summer 2013.
I think
that would be good. I think that would be very good because it means they have plenty of time to fix what was wrong with it. Obviously wrong with it.
They've already had 5 years to fix what was wrong with it.
No, but I mean, when it passed over to the technical team,
for whatever reason,
Santa Monica Studios, that wasn't that long ago, right? Because Yoshida
we don't know
came out he came out in February, and that's when he started talking about how the slow progress of the game, right? That's when he mentioned it. So I'm just going based off of that. I'm assuming that's when it was Platinum Games when they took over.
Well, how do you know that hadn't already gone across?
Well, we don't, but I'm just saying that's
right.
All we've got to go on. I'm just going, what's come out? I don't know.
I just want this game, guys.
No, I want the game too, but
I want right though. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess after spending so much money and so much time on it, they want to get it right. But I also
I think they're having to restart over a large part of it, so I think they need some decent amount of time. We got to be realistic.
God, no, I don't think they're gonna restart. I
can't restart, but I mean something. Whatever was broken, a big chunk of it.
That's the thing. We don't know what was even wrong.
We don't know.
Yeah. We don't. We know so little about this game.
Under that skirt for so long. I don't. Yeah.
I think because he was a perfectionist, right?
He was super perfectionist.
He's a super perfectionist, and I guess he didn't want to sign off on stuff until he was totally satisfied with it, animation wise and stuff, and character models and stuff. And maybe
what got me was there was a point on Twitter where he was just kind of talking in a very just positive way about other games, and I was just like, what about your game, dude?
Yeah, well,
are you ignoring your game?
I hope they show it, and I hope they give a date,
and I hope it's amazing.
Yeah, me too. Remember, Stephen, when we saw it 2 years ago at TGS, the trailer for it?
Yeah,
remember? And we were like, oh my god, and then the TGS rolled around again, and we got there, and it wasn't there, and it was like what? Really? This is worse than Gran Turismo. At least Gran Turismo gave us a demo. It's to pay for, but still.
That was fine. I wouldn't. At least people were getting it in their hands.
Yeah, and playing it at Tokyo Game Show every year for like 4 years.
Right.
You know,
The Tokyo Game Show game.
They got rain. Hey.
Yeah, the Tokyo Game Show game.
So yeah, oh well. I just hope date and shown.
Fingers crossed, people. Fingers crossed.
Well,
I want to go that far. I want to believe they're going to do that.
Believe it, man. Believe.
Believe.
You gotta believe.
Got little to go on.
The rapper. Anyways, I think we should start to rapidly wrap up.
Yeah.
Just a quick one. Dragon's Dogma. Did you see how many it sold in Japan in the first week?
A lot.
300,000 units.
I bet they're happy with that number.
I think
that's good.
Pretty happy with that
I'm
number.
happy.
Someone on Gaff in the Media Craze thread actually looked into this, I guess. And apparently it's I think it's the top selling new IP for Capcom since like Devil May Cry or something, I think. I'm just going off of memory here, but it's their first new IP in a while that sold that much. So, good on them.
Yeah, very good, very good. Didn't think it would do that well.
I thought it was going to do sub 100,000 numbers.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking 300,000.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Definitely.
The 3DS did 55,000 units, where the Vita did 6,600.
It's it's just chugging along. Did better than the Wii.
It's in a crisis. Yeah. That's wrong. That's wrong. But the 360 got a bit of a bump through Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's on there, isn't it?
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma sold like basically 30,000 units. But the actual 360, the units it sold was 3,000 units. So basically, it went up by over 2,000 units because the last week was only 825 units.
Wow.
So it
360.
It went from 825 units to 3,069 units because of Dragon's Dogma, and also probably because of Monster Hunter Frontier Online.
Yeah.
Because Premium Package 4 came out.
Oh my god. 800 units. That's something else.
God.
Monster Hunter Frontier Online for the 360 sold basically 10,000 units, so
yeah.
it's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. Well, for the 360 title anyway, so. And in the top 10, as you can see, there was no Vita titles.
No Vita titles.
Sad. Anyways, right, let's get into the tweets.
Twitter Melita.
Yep. Okay. As always, we got a food question from Crackalack and Z.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I just read this. That's a tough one.
I'm done. I've already decided.
Okay. Well, what is it? Tell them what it is first.
Yeah.
Oyakudon, or gyudon.
Well, explain what they are.
Oyakudon is basically chicken and egg on top of rice, right?
And dashi and shoyu, yeah.
And a gyudon is rice with beef
and onions sometimes.
Onions on top, right?
Yeah, and with oyakodon you also get various toppings. You might get seaweed or you might get mitsuba.
Yeah, but that's all like you can choose that.
No, you can't. That's the thing. Each place has got its own. Like cheap places do seaweed, and like higher quality places do like the parsley. But it's a lighter taste parsley that tastes really good.
Right, but you can always choose whether or not to have it on or not. They don't throw it on. Some people give you a choice.
Yeah, you could ask for it.
I know Roxanne that we go to. They give you a choice.
Right.
They give you. So, anyways, yeah. So, oyakudon or gyudon? I go with oyakudon every time. I'm a chicken man.
There are so many places you can go to where you can get expensive, good oyakudon, which I actually do. My first trip to Tokyo, I had a business trip to go for an interview at Motorola, which I didn't pass. But my very first meal was I hunted down Tamahide, which was actually the birthplace of oyakudon.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
They've been in business since 1760.
Ouch.
And it was $20, and that was heaven.
Chicken heaven.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with oyakudon.
Well, I'm gonna have to be the odd man out here, and I'm gonna go with gyudon. There's nothing like a beef bowl sometimes, man. I don't know.
Don't say all beef, but I hate that.
I mean, like, I don't know. There's so many places that sell it for cheap.
Yes.
And
That's just it. If you're going on the cheap, I would say maybe gyudon. But if it's like a decent meal.
I mean, it's just cheap. It's tasty. It fills you up. I don't know. I gotta go with gyudon.
Right.
That's 2 for Oyakodon, 1 for gyudon.
Woohoo!
Yay! Oyakodon wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oyakodon also isn't necessarily chicken and egg because like they also have like ikura and fish. Ikura is like the fish eggs.
Yes.
And then they have like normal fish. That's because it's basically it means father and child. So the father and child food combinations.
Right.
But anyway, chicken oyakodon.
Yeah, well, I'm a Oyakodon man myself.
Yeah,
You don't?
it's healthier.
You don't?
You don't?
You don't?
Okay, you know what? I'm
Sounds
done.
French.
I'm done. I'm done.
You don't?
Oh, I hate myself for that joke.
Have you got an egg on your head? Anyways, Pageboy81 asks, obviously he didn't listen to last week's podcast because he says, how much attention does E3 get in Japan?
Boo.
Boo. Listen to last week's episode, my friend. But he also asks, how anticipated is Persona 4?
I can actually answer that.
Go for it.
In Dengeki PlayStation this week, they actually have rankings in the back
Yes.
showing what the most
Anticipated, right?
anticipated titles are. Number 1 is Persona 4 The Golden for the PlayStation Vita. And also, Staya was reporting a few weeks back, I think, that their pre-orders for Persona 4 Golden were looking really, really good. And they seem to be expecting sales higher than Persona 3 Portable, which was in like the 100,000 ish copies over that.
100,000?
Yeah.
Is it 100,000 Vitas sold in Japan?
I think personally, this is just a guess. I think Persona 4 The Golden is going to do over 100,000, and I think we're going to see a Vita bump somewhere around 40,000.
You think so?
Personally, that's what I'm thinking.
Right, you do get a nice face plate. No, not
There's
face
a faceplate, and
Yeah.
Persona 4 as a franchise has gained a lot of ground.
Right.
Because of the arcade game, I think, which actually, the second most anticipated title is Persona 4 The Ultimate in Mayanoka Arena, the fighting game.
The fighting game, right.
Yeah, so it's Persona 4 and then the fighting game
Well,
right
Persona
after.
2 was released last week on the PSP, right?
It was, and it didn't sell very well. It sold like 20,000 copies or something like
But
that.
it's just a re-release, right?
But yeah, it's just a re-release, so...
But
I mean, Persona 4 is very popular here.
it is, yeah. So, there you go, Pageboy81. Go listen to episode 38. And we...
Shame on you.
Yes, we talk about E3 and E3 in Japan and how it gets people wet behind the ears. Anyways, damn. I'm not going to answer the Crackalack Z one because we spoke about the Nessica X Live before. And okay, the last one was it R Hush? He says, "What's the best thing about living in Japan?"
This question. This question is so hard to answer.
Is it
Best.
Is it
I think it is. Yeah.
women?
Like I feel like it's a.
This might sound lame, but being able to live comfortably without a climate of fear. Like I'm talking like outside at night, anywhere you go.
Yes.
With not having
That
to
is
worry
very
about
true.
anything. People who get it. I think that makes you live just a few extra years just on that alone, not having that stress
I think
You
at
mean
the
not having to-
subconscious level.
Right, not having to look over your shoulder when you go to the ATM at night.
Yeah.
you know-
there's something undeniably nice about, for instance, I could walk outside right now, go for a walk,
Right.
and I have nothing to fear.
Right now is 1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m. I could go out for a walk to the convenience store, which I might very well do, and just, it's a nice, cool night. Why not?
Your sandals just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and people breaking into, my home, that kind of thing. I don't really have a fear of that,
No,
Right.
you could leave your door open if you wanted to.
You probably could.
What's the funnest, best thing about Japan then?
The funnest, bestest, thingest.
I know, like, other than the fact that, come on, it's almost 1 a.m.
It's all right. So the bestest, funnest, thingest in Japan. The best, my kids.
Oh,
all right. I'm not going to answer that. I can't follow that.
Yeah, seriously, we'll just look like jerks.
I got two. Well, obviously, every father's going to say that. I got two beautiful kids, and I'm really proud of them. So, I'm really proud of my family. I'm proud.
Right,
that
I need buffer. You answer that, so I don't look as bad next.
Yeah, well, I came to Japan with nothing, and now I've got a great wife. I've got a house. I've got a car. I've got two beautiful kids. I've got
you sound
a
like
job.
you're at like confession or something.
No, but you know what I mean. I came here with nothing, right?
I definitely, I understand that. That's pretty crazy. I don't know. This isn't really the best, funnest thing, but something I am very grateful for since coming here. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person since coming here. Like the me now versus even just the me 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. It's just very different, and I owe a lot of that to living here, I think. But I really enjoy living here. It's a very easy country to live in some ways. And just to be, nerdy for a second, I really enjoy the pop culture here. I think it's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of craziness.
You like AKB48, right?
No.
Yes, you do. Come on, don't lie.
No, I don't. I don't like AKB48.
Okay, you like SKE48.
No, I'll take Girls' Generation.
Oh, what, the Korean group?
Because you know what? Because the Korean pop stars, the Korean girl groups, they try more to be, like, sexy, like adult sexy, versus AKB48, which tries to, like...
Schoolgirls?
Look like schoolgirls, and I teach schoolgirls, so I'm like, no, that's uncomfortable.
Fair enough. I totally get where you're coming from.
Exactly, yeah.
It's also a bit scary as well when the people you work with, i.e. the teachers, are also into SKE, and you're like,
yeah.
These are like
weird.
These are like little kids, and you're into them, and you've got like posters on your table and or on your desk and stuff, and
it's creepy.
It's like that's a little bit creepy because you're fanning, you're cheering on these other girls, and then you've got a classroom full of girls that are very similar age.
Yeah, that's very
weird. Weird. Anyways,
yeah, I love Japan. So
yeah, Japan's awesome. It's I mean, if you open yourself to it, there's so much to take.
Yep. No country's perfect, but I mean, there's goods and bads wherever you go. But I really enjoy living
the worst
here,
thing is I had to buy a pair of shorts for my daughter for school.
Mm-hmm.
The shorts were 3,000 yen. Into that US money, that's about $38 for a pair of shorts.
For a little kid.
They're not even. They don't even have pockets in them because Japanese kids, when they're in school, they're not allowed to have their hands in their pockets, so they got no pockets in them. They're blue and white striped shorts. They're about 25 centimeters long.
Well, what about the ranseru, the backpacks?
Oh god,
those are like you can pay up to $1,000.
Yeah, like anywhere from 4 mon to like 10 mon, right?
Yeah, because
I mean,
even
kimonos in Japan are like $20,000. Can you imagine having 3 daughters?
Yeah, well, that's why you use your mother-in-law's one.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Luckily, that's becoming like the in thing.
Yeah, they just hand-me-downs, but they're so beautifully looked after, and they're treated like, well, they should be. They're treated like gold.
Like all used things here.
Yeah. It's it's amazing, but yeah, wow, 3,000 yen for a pair of shorts. I nearly fell off my chair when my wife said, "Yeah, I need 3,000 yen. What for?" And I need to buy some shorts. Like, what, for you? No, for your daughter. What, you mean to like run around in? Yeah, basically to get dirty. What? Oh my god. Okay, fair enough. You got no choice. But yeah, Japanese school uniform is an absolute fortune.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, wait till you have kids, my friend. Anyways, I think we should wrap up. It is 1 a.m.
Oh yeah.
So we're looking forward to E3, which basically starts tomorrow for us, or today.
I'm sure we'll all be
7 a.m.
In 6 hours?
Rapidly.
In 6 hours, we'll be listening
Yeah,
to...
I may just commute into work early so I can sit there for an hour and a half and
You might as well.
watch it.
You might as well. Yes, it kicks off in 6 hours, so that means I've got less than 5 hours to sleep.
Oh.
Marvelous. Marvelous.
All right, let's wrap up.
Let's wrap it up. So, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's RedSunGamer, or at RedSunGamer on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I'm DJ Mizuhara, which is DJMizuhara. If you want to follow Steven, it's...
Yeah, if you want to see Buzz Lightyear's picture, it's Steve at RedSun. No, Steve underscore G RedSun.
Oh, come on, get it right, man.
Jesus.
It's Steve underscore RedSun G.
Or Buzz Lightyear or something.
Yeah, just in case you missed it, that was Steve underscore RedSun G.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Okay.
I was dripping last bit of Ebisu in the glass, so. Sorry.
Okay, and the man with the bike?
Okay, so you can follow me at RYOUGA
cheerleader.
SAOTOME, Ryoga Saotome.
Don't interrupt him while he's doing his spiel. You can't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on. You want to do that again?
Sure, I'll do it again. So it's at Ryoga Saotome, RYOUGA SAOTOME.
Thank you very much. And if you would like to follow us, we're doing live streams again. Me and Steve have kicked off with the live streams. So if you'd like to follow us on the Twitch TV, it's Twitch TV /RedSunGamer. We have a YouTube channel, which is also YouTube /RedSunGamerTV. We have a thread on the Gaff, which is it's an all-in-one thread now. So basically everything in the one thread is on Gaff, and we have our own home on the Retroids forums as well. So if you'd like to hit it, you can hit us up many different ways. If you want to get in touch with us via email, it's redsungamertv@gmail.com. So yeah, so this was RedSunGamer. Have a great E3. And I hope you've got your popcorn and tissues at the ready, because it should be fun. Enjoy. This is RedSunGamer, episode 39. Let's go to some of this.
Let's go to some of this.